was talking.
Oh, there we go. I seen you light up. Damn, Jake dipped fast.
Jake dipped fast. He was talking all that heat in the chat. He dipped. So you know what? I'll take his place
Sure.
to satisfy you. Okay.
All
You
right.
said you're a socialist Democrat, right?
I'm a social democrat. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking a fat shit right now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
That's
taking a
lying.
fat shit right now. I'll join after.
All right.
He was lying.
Yeah, I believe that.
Alrighty.
This kind of dude seemed like he always got an excuse.
So, um, you're a socialist Democrat. Obviously, I'm not one. I'm pretty right leaning. Uh, I mean,
Well,
sure.
just
I will agree with you. I'm
just to be
paid.
clear with our terminology, there's a big difference between like a socialist who is a Democrat and a sock dom. A social democrat wouldn't be the same as saying like these two words separately, right?
Sure. You know what? Go ahead and define it. I'll look up the definition myself.
So I'm a pretty like I'm like a staunch capitalist. I firmly believe in capitalism, but I also understand that there are certain market failures that capitalism just can't that like the unregulated capitalism just simply can't fix. Like it fails in certain sectors like healthcare, to some degree in housing, um, and that we need to have certain social programs in place to make sure that these market failures don't end up becoming like super bad for society as a whole. And it's also with the acknowledgement that, like economically speaking, that these policies are significantly more advantageous than not for economic prosperity as a whole for society.
Okay.
That's if is that a satisfactory answer?
Sure. I mean, you do know like you had other places that was they also say they were democratic socialists and then they kind of fucked everything up. So
Um, so democratic socialists are different than sock dums too. Democratic socialists, these would be like people that are like socialists. Like these are people that have like really strong socialist ideas, and I'm not
okay.
like really for like super social. I mean, it's just it also really depends on how we're defining our terms here, because
Well,
like
I guess my thing would be is what's the difference between a a democratic socialist and socialist?
like a democratic socialist. I mean, we're seeing a lot more socialist in here. Whereas I think that we need social programs. Basically, we need certain dosage of like socialist programs to try to fix the inherent flaws with capitalism. Shouldn't say that I have anything against capitalism. I absolutely think that it's the best system for determining how to move goods and services around. But we just have to acknowledge there's certain inherent flaws that need policy to fix.
So and then your two example was the housing market and the healthcare market.
Healthcare market's a really big one. The markets just fail healthcare like miserably because
Okay.
there's not a good profit incentive to make sure that everybody's healthy. And then housing to a degree.
Okay. So I guess do you consider Medicaid and the VA as a socialist program
I
when it
mean,
comes to healthcare?
they are by definition.
What do you think of them?
Yeah, I think that they're. I mean, they could probably be a little bit better. Well,
How?
not Medicaid. Medicaid's pretty good. As far as like Veterans Affairs, I mean, they're pretty limiting on like where they can go for things, and then like there's like those backlogs where they deliberately put people on them and stuff. I think they probably need a bit better oversight to make sure that the veterans are getting what they were promised. So basically, when it comes to healthcare, I just it just makes more sense to have everybody on board. It ends up being cheaper in the long run, anyways.
So when it comes to health, so I guess my question would be is how what do you want to see in a healthcare
Um,
system? Like what changes would you want
some form of universal healthcare. I'm not like
for
die hard.
everybody?
I want single. I'm not die hard. Like I need single payer or multi payer. I don't give a shit. I think whichever one is easier to pass in America would be the one that I would take. Like I'm not like married to one idea. If it's easier to go multi-payer, fuck it, let's go multi-payer. Let's get everybody insured. Let's stop having people die from for preventable reasons. And let's stop people without insurance. This also stops people that don't have insurance from going and getting treated and causing like this massive deficit in the healthcare market. And it's not to say that I'm ignoring the fact that like certain jobs like health insurance, like a bunch of health insurance workers are going to be out of jobs and things like that. However, I do think that there is some sort of value that you can place on human lives that we can compare these like losses to.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 So, so you don't know how to implement the system, but you just want the system in.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I know how to do it. We just have to push. We just have to push one or the other through Congress. It's just, I'm just saying, like, I don't care which one it is. It could be single payer or it could be multi payer. They both seem to work pretty well for the most part. Um,
But you think it works well? Where does it work well?
the UK, it works pretty well. It's still going. In Canada, it works pretty well. It's still going. I've yet to see a single argument against like Canada's system that actually makes sense.
I've been seeing with Canadian. I mean, I'm sure you heard this argument that with Canadians, you do know you have many Canadians when they have a pretty serious or some kind of
See,
emergency, you know, thing going on when it comes to their health, they come to the United States. You know that,
okay,
right?
so this is a massive misnomer. So really rich people that want to pick their doctors and fly to America, they do that. So the
Of
United States
course,
has excellent health care if you're rich.
exactly. That's
Unfortunately, the
true.
vast majority of the United States has this problem of not being rich, and therefore we
I
shouldn't
agree
have
with you.
so it doesn't make sense to have a system that's serving the mass minority. I mean, if we're putting in a system is almost always put in place to serve the majority, right?
Mm.
Otherwise, we wouldn't really need a system. We would just have like a project or a program. But it seems like this entire system for healthcare is built around more wealthy people, and it's just not pragmatic.
Okay. So yeah, no, I see the exact same issue with the current healthcare system. How we have the best on this planet, if you could afford it. So
Sure.
the big goal is, I'm assuming for both of us, is how do we get more people to have access to the best healthcare quality at a lower cost,
Sure.
or for you or no cost? In your example, you
Well,
don't want
there's
to
no
get
such
paid
thing
for
as. I mean, I'm not delusional. I don't think that there's anything free.
it.
Um,
Okay.
and so, like, I mean, we're already getting taxed no matter what. This is going to happen. We can
Yeah, of
redivert
course.
funds from other things. Even if
Which
we
is
just
why.
overhauled our current medical system that we have, if we just redirect funds in an appropriate way, we can get everybody on a multi-payer or single-payer system, which will actually end up being like a net gain economically. Especially, and
So
like this isn't even if you factor in the fact that a lot of people that don't have healthcare aren't able to work because they can't afford adequate healthcare, which will pump more money into the economy, which will generate more tax revenue and all that. This is ignoring that. There are so
wait,
many like economic positives that come from this, and
you
even
you
without,
think people you think people don't work because they can't afford healthcare?
yeah, I definitely I know for a fact that some people can't work because they can't afford medicines that would help them be able to work. I also think that a
Oh,
lot of
okay,
things
okay. So
so like for instance if somebody's like pre-diabetic and they don't have access to healthcare, they're almost guaranteed to end up being diabetic, which is seriously going to be impede their ability to get gainful employment, right?
okay, so you know what? How for me, I would say I want all pre-existing medical conditions to be
Hmm.
covered by
Sure,
insurance.
sure. Yeah, I would say that that's like almost like a prerequisite here for me. This is
So
some this is something that has to be done to even like have the conversation about ensuring the most people we can.
definitely, and I do think. Well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think quite a few people on the right would agree that pre-existing medical condition should be covered by insurance. Definitely. Um,
Yeah, and I don't even think you could even attempt to try to tackle like a national healthcare without having it, because then you would automatically get rid of a ton of people that would end up being paid. Almost everybody has some kind of pre-existing condition, and then it's just like it gets really arbitrary and picky choosy, and then we can start like then it starts getting really weird to where like boiling down the value of human life into dollars, which just I think almost everybody could say like even on the right too, like talking about death panels, like we already have death panels in the form of pre-existing condition denials.
yeah, no, definitely. And that I would say that need change. But so you say that universal healthcare works well in the UK and Canada.
Yeah, I mean it works well enough. They have it. We certainly see a significantly less people, going bankrupt and losing all their possessions because they're getting health care. Um, like, I mean, we can certainly say like, hey, like this or that isn't like great. It's not super ideal in this area or that area. But I think that no matter what you could throw at me, I could point out like significantly demonstrable worse impacts of the way the United States has our healthcare structured. So like I can't sit here and tell you like here's a perfect example where everything's going to work 100% flawless 100% of the time, but like it's super easy to find other systems that work significantly demonstrably better than what we have in the United States.
Yeah, and for me, I always say this. The United States has the best healthcare quality on this planet, and but it also has probably one of the shittiest system. Um,
Sure.
though, and I guess where we would disagree would be is how we want to approach to change the system. You want to have a more universal health system for everybody, and for me, so my position is I want it so we could make it a more free market, which would then drive competition, which would then drop down prices while also increasing the quality of healthcare.
So the problem with this then is that you're going to have people who still one won't be able to afford it. Like this is
Of
not
course,
debatable.
I,
So
yeah, I mean,
uh,
hey, the same exact thing in Canada and UK. Some people still can't afford it.
no, that's not true. Everybody is covered in Canada.
Yeah, no, but I'm okay. So what I mean by that is, as in, so they have extremely high taxes, right, in Canada and the UK.
Sure, but if you can't
Uh,
afford to pay taxes, you still have health care, right?
okay, no, I'll give that to you. True, true, sure. But
That's kind of my point is that like I'm really interested in protecting those most vulnerable, because this isn't like trying to make sure that you have like a big screen TV. This isn't trying to make sure that you have like even I mean I think this is also very important to guarantee people, but it's not even talking about requiring that you have food in your fridge. This is talking about if something happens to you and you're gonna die unless you get this thing, you're gonna get it. Like the whole point of
oh
having a
well,
government is to provide the wealth to protect the welfare of each individual citizen, and with the amount of money we funnel into the military to like protect our people and for other arguments for sanctity of life, like healthcare has to be more important than
yeah,
any of these things in providing
here's the thing
welfare.
though. Here's the thing with healthcare, that doesn't come for free. That's it's people, right,
Yeah,
who work in
absolutely.
the medical industry who take the time to obtain those skills
Yeah, they're still getting
to
paid.
do healthcare. Well, here's the thing now. Now if the government was to take over that, right?
Mm,
And let's just say a doctor or nurse or something is not happy with what they're getting paid with.
sure.
Who do they go to?
I mean, their boss.
Who's their boss?
I would assume the dean of medicine or somebody who's above them in the food chain. This isn't
In
something that
government,
would necessarily
but
change.
in government though.
Um, so so
So if
So
they're
I
not
mean,
happy with
a
it,
nurse is a nurse wouldn't have to go to the government to do this. We have plenty of government subsidized things where, like, if you're working for this business that's subsidized by the government, you don't go to the government to talk about getting a raise.
the thing is, I mean, I'm assuming with a
So just like
single
any
payer
other
healthcare
business, they would
system.
have X amount of funding, and then the people in charge of the business hospital is a business that gets to delegate where these funds go to. This would work the exact same
So
way.
here's my issue with just having the government control healthcare system is that with these the federal workers, right? They become you know federal workers of the government.
That they don't
If
though.
they don't,
So like for
even
instance,
though the
if
gov
yeah, so let's say that I'm in charge of running like a public housing system, right?
it's awful.
Sure, but let's just say that I do, and I have people working for me. A maintenance man says, "Hey, man, I want a raise." I don't go say, "Hey, go talk to your senator." That's not how that works. I negotiate him with a pay raise like I would any other boss. This would work the exact same way in a
Yeah,
hospital.
but here's the thing though, is that janitor could just go to a different housing or maintain a different building
Yeah, just
through
like
through a
nurses could go
private
work for other
company.
hospitals.
Yeah, but it's still government owned then.
But this isn't
It's
this.
it's ran through the government only.
No, the payment is. It's just the payment. It's
Yeah,
not.
but you see, if the government has control of the healthcare system in all hospitals,
Yeah. Well, control. The government is funding.
okay, so the
So, like,
government is
is this a
funding.
problem in other countries with universal health care?
I just think giving that power to the government is dangerous.
Okay, sure, but like, I can't imagine like this hypothetical worry that you have that just seems like it has no basis in actual reality when we can't see this ever happening anywhere. Like I can say that like I'm afraid of like that's like me saying like I don't want cops to have guns because what's to stop them from busting down my door and shooting me in the face? Well, that this isn't something that usually happens, right? This isn't a good argument. Like we
Hey,
need we
but
need to demonstrate that this happens somewhere. Like we have plenty of examples of what I'm talking about going on, and you're saying, well, what if this happens? But we don't have any examples of what you're talking about occurring
the
as a
thing is
result of
is
it.
that is that the doctors, as for example, in the UK, the
Hmm.
doctors get paid like dick.
Let's see. I wouldn't say they get paid dick. I'm looking up UK doctors. It seems like they make pretty good money.
I'm seeing 50,000,
Let's see.
but I'm using salaries doctors in London, UK, through the glass door.
In fact, let me see. Let's see how much do doctors. Looks like ER physicians make about 50 pounds an hour. Internal medicine make about 40 pounds an hour. Yeah, so we're sitting between 40 and 50 pounds an hour. That's pretty fucking good pay, I'd say.
Mm, mm,
Let's compare that to the United States.
let me
Medical
see.
residents and doctors make anywhere between $15 and $120 per hour. Medical residents make between $20 and $31 per hour. So it looks like they're sitting at like the average of what a United States doctor makes, right?
A medical resident. What's a medical resident?
That's somebody who they started off at the hospital. Usually, have to be a resident for a few years before you make your actual your money. And this is actually something I've talked to. Like I have a friend who he's been on my stream before to talk to me. He's a medical doctor, and the idea that doctors make as much money in the United States as people think they do, it's just not true. Doctors don't make nearly as much as people think they do in the United States. But another a point to make too is that doctors in the United States usually start off with like about $200,000 in debt once they finish medical school, and you're not going to see this like in the UK and Canada where they have tuition-free college. So it would make sense to see their average pay to be a little bit lower, even though the UK doctors seem to be making about the average of what the United States doctors make. So not only are they making about the average of what the United States, the average UK makes about what the average US doctor makes. Um, it also seems like they're not coming into this with like massive amounts of debt as well. So I would argue that you're better off being a doctor in the UK. And also, like, as far as like feeling good about your job, you don't have to turn away people because they don't have insurance and shit either.
Yeah, but the thing is if you were better off being a doctor in UK, then how come we have
But you do know that
some?
doctors can't turn somebody away, right?
Wow, that's so
Well,
that's so
well,
fucked up.
th-
How
they
Jake
they
just
can they
come
can
in and just
choose.
interrupt.
Sorry, I
They
just now got on because my
well,
computer's at.
well, if it's not life threatening, yes, they can.
You can't. You can still go and do it. You just have to pay for it yourself, but without insurance.
Yeah, if that's what I'm saying, if you can't afford to pay it, then they absolutely can turn you away. And without insurance, most people can't afford to pay for medical treatment.
So my argument is, so what I'm afraid of, right, when it comes to trying to nationalize healthcare in the United States, for everybody, um,
Sure.
is that you don't think the quality will go down?
I think that the quality overall will increase.
You think the quality will increase, really?
Yeah, what reason do I have to believe that the quality of healthcare will go down?
Well, I just don't think the government. There's no need to try to compete for it for give medical advancements and quality of healthcare.
I mean, there's no real competition in medical care right now. We don't have like open market pricing. You can't compare pricing anyways. It's all through insurance. They can do whatever they want anyways.
Oh, so you will want open market pricing then?
No, I'm just saying that we don't have that anyways. So if we're going from here to that, I don't see how like the position that you're giving me justifies your claim.
Well, the thing is when it comes to if we were to have national health care in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
you think we would still have the best health care?
Well, we don't have the best healthcare. We only have the best healthcare for people that are rich.
No,
So,
but
like-
we do have the best health care.
Okay, so like, look, does it really matter how good something is if it's unattainable?
Yeah, but the thing is I want it so the quality still goes up while
Okay.
everybody still has access
Okay,
to it.
but you're not proposing any solution to get to that way. So like if we had like
I-
let's say
I
we
would
had
say-
3 cars that are the fastest in the entire world, and we just had 3 of them, but they're like far and beyond faster than any other car in the entire world. We would say the United States has the fastest cars in the entire world. Well, like is that really a claim that's like worth anything when there's only fucking 3 of them?
Well, the thing is so how my proposal is having insurance be across state lines. Number one, stop having the government intervene with healthcare. That's number 2, and number 3, I would say just having it so healthcare needs to pretty much give the prices before any service is done.
Okay, but how does this help people that can't afford it get it?
It goes cheaper.
Not necessarily. We get
You-
shittier health services become cheaper. Without government regulation, then I mean you can't start to delegate these things without like making things less restrictive, which means we're just going to get shittier, which is going to do exactly what you said you were worried about happening when the government steps in. If the government steps in and regulates healthcare, we can actually put in national standards which can guarantee higher standards for healthcare across the board, which would mean it wouldn't matter if I went to this hospital or the one across town. I know that I'm going to be getting good healthcare because
is-
there's a
is
national
that-
mandate that requires it.
I trust the private industry to mandate themselves.
What? Private industry almost always undercuts the consumer for profit every chance they can. This is like a key feature of private industry. Which in some instances is fine. Like if we're trying to buy like a computer monitor or something like that, I can compare features and stuff like that. But when it comes to like healthcare, if all I can get is like the shittiest, lowest end healthcare, like that doesn't seem right. That just because like I was born into a situation that like I have to risk my life for a surgery, that like somebody just across the border of Canada is going to be able to be like a-okay. They know they're going to be fine because they have strong government regulations on what kind of care they're going to get. You can't both like open markets up for healthcare and still regulate quality control. That doesn't work.
So you don't think that the private industry could regulate themselves?
Then how come it
At all.
hasn't?
Because there's already, well, the thing is that there's already government intervention in healthcare.
Sure, but government intervention doesn't keep the prices up. The healthcare industry does this on its own.
It does. Well, no, because if the government is going to subsidize, then why can't the hospitals and doctors and clinics just overcharge them?
Okay, so let's say prices get slashed in half, right? This would be like like almost unrealistic amount that would happen if they got unregulated. Get slashed in half. We're still gonna see pretty much the same amount of people not being able to afford their health care. Like for instance, I take an inhaler. That inhaler costs me, just one of my inhalers costs me $400 a month.
It's bullshit.
Sure, it is. But what I'm saying is, even if we cut this price in half, this is still going to be unaffordable to almost everybody who can't afford health insurance to begin with. The idea here isn't to try to get these services prices lowered. It's the idea here is to get healthcare as a whole costs reduced and the burden of the taxpayer. And with universal health care, we do decrease the amount of tax money that we're spending already without reducing care. There's no evidence that we have to reduce care. We can still, like, we have government mandates, so we can make sure, like, we can literally put policy in place saying, like, you can't reduce the quality of the care. We can have oversight committees to make sure that the reduction of care isn't being followed. And if it is, if they are shortcoming stuff, well, we already have government intervention here to make sure that, like, we can take care of this and take legal action very swiftly. Like it seems like none of the things that you've said have like addressed any of like they have like contradicted any of the points that I've made, and you just have this like hypothetical worry that hasn't bore out in any of these other examples that we can see anywhere else in the world where it's already in place.
I don't know. I mean, you don't. So you think the Canadian healthcare and the UK's healthcare is good, but there's always people saying it's shit. Statistically, that it's dookie. If you have a bad disease, you more likely to die in that country than the
Do you
United
have any?
States.
Do you have any like way to support this? Like,
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not here for a debate, so I don't have my stats and statistics on me right now. I will have to come up. Even if you don't want to take my word, you don't have to.
one second. Let me just look into this real quick because I'm pretty sure that like more people in the U.S. die from medical issues than in the UK.
Well, I didn't say medical. I'm talking about if you have a pretty bad
Okay, but
what was it, cancer or
so,
something. I think I'll have to look into it.
okay, well then, yeah, sure. If you have to look into it, that's fine. But that was a
Yeah.
strong claim that you made. It made it sound like this is something that you had looked into, and at least like maybe not necessarily giving me a source, but at least come up with some sort of justification for it. Like even a vague one would have been a bit more convincing.
So okay. So I guess you do really want to debate. You want to compare stats and statistics. I could do that for you.
Well, no, I mean you're the one who brought up you're the one who said like this works better than this, and I'm just saying like I don't think that's true, and I can't imagine why that would be true. But you seem quite convinced.
I said I think.
Actually, so let's see. Childhood leukemia, you're better off in the UK and in Canada. Um, it seems like the only thing that the United States beats in is breast cancer. That's about it. It seems like, and plus all these margins are like super close. It doesn't seem like it's that relevant. Oh, and these are actually old numbers too. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's like a massive difference. And plus, too, like, I mean, sure, we can talk about cancer, but I'm talking about people that can't get life-saving medications. Like these are completely preventable. Like, if you have cancer, like you're not in good shape already. But like if you have diabetes and you can't afford to get your insulin, you're just done. This is like dollars equals death for you. Whereas, like, I mean, if you have cancer too in the United States, if you don't have health insurance, you're gonna die. Like,
'Cause you
I'd
can't get
rather.
medicine. Well,
Yeah, but
you know,
I'd rather have like care that has like a 5% less chance survival rate than get no care at all. It would seem to me like if I have an 89% chance in the United States and I have an 82% chance in the UK, but most likely in the United States I'm gonna have a 0% chance because I don't have fucking insurance. Like I'm getting a net gain of fucking like what 82%.
I guess so
It's like
to
it's
introduce
cheaper and it saves more lives.
to introduce this national healthcare system in the United States, how much would it cost?
You want exact dollars?
No, no. Well, what do you think? How much it's going to cost?
Well, I know that it's been figured to cost by economists significantly less than we're already spending on our healthcare systems that we do have funded by the government. It allows us to bargain against pharmaceutical companies, whereas we're paying 3 to 10 times more for a drug that like everywhere else in the country pays for. Since we don't have a unified front, we don't have the capacity to do that, which means we're literally just pulling money straight out of taxpayers' dollars for no fucking reason. It allows us to, when we have everybody paying.
What do you want to attack that directly? And battle the pharmaceuticals?
Well, yeah, if we just say like, hey, we're not gonna buy it unless you give us the same price that you're giving everybody else, like they're gonna. And if they don't, then we can just go to the other countries and purchase it and ship it over here, right?
Sure.
But these things aren't possible without a unified front, and we don't have a unified front. We get a unified front by having a national healthcare system. And like I still have to like reiterate too that you haven't given me one claim about another country that I haven't been able to like dismiss as far as like our healthcare systems compare. Like the only argument that you've made that hasn't been like dismissed by me is that the United States is a better place to be for healthcare if you're rich. But unfortunately, 99% of the United States isn't rich. and I don't see the point in making a system that benefits 1% of people over the entire masses. That's the whole point of living in a society and paying taxes, right? Is that we're supposed to get something valuable in return.
So, I just want to see how much it would be, because that when it comes to like UK and Canadians, they get taxed out the ass already.
Sure, but
What
so
what
they get taxed up front out the
would I
ass.
say if that's just only because of the universal health care? No, I'm probably not. I don't think so. Maybe. I honestly don't know. The figure I heard when it comes to how much it's going to cost, and maybe you looked at a different economist. What was it? Was it 30 trillion over the next 10 years?
No,
You know, no.
no, that's not accurate. Actually, it's funny. The highest IRS tax rates in the United States are 37%, whereas in Canada it's 33%. Um, and then if we compare the range in Canada, the range in the United States is 10 to 37%, and the range in Canada is 15 to 33%. So we have on the low end we have a high 5% higher, but on the high end we have a 4% lower. So it seems like the
Oh,
average
wow.
is going to be about, we're looking at about the same tax rates overall.
Federal?
Yeah,
Really? So
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Things get cheaper when you have everybody pitch in. And too, like I'm all about making sure that we're not wasting money and that we're spending intelligently here. But it just seems like the system that we have, not only does it not provide the most good for the most people by any respect, but it's also costing us money, like that we don't have to spend. Like this, like when it really comes down to, conservatives should be all about universal health care because it's going to take less money out of their pocket overall. And not only that,
I
too, like they get it too. Like we all get it. This is good.
yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's that cheap. I just have to look into how much it's going to cost compared to how it is now. Um, so for most middle class people in America, they're only paying like a 12% tax rate
1 minute.
when it comes to federal.
Well,
When it
I mean,
comes to state taxes,
if this is the case, then how come Canada's not paying more than us? Like the claim that you made that Canada's paying way more than us, like I've already debunked that. If what you're saying is true, then it would seem like Canadians would be paying way more than the United States, right? But that doesn't bear out in reality. And
let me
and
let me see.
and when you talk to Canadians about the system, like they have, the Canadian healthcare system has overwhelmingly positive or Canada has like overwhelmingly positive view on their healthcare system. In fact, the guy who invented their national healthcare system he won the greatest Canadian ever award. Like he's considered to be like one of the great heroes of like Canadian history. Like it just seems like if these things were the way that you said they were, we would be seeing a much different picture. We'd be seeing much higher tax rates. We would see people, more than just rich people coming over to get these procedures done. We would see like a general disdain for the healthcare system. Whereas in the United States, there's a general disdain for the American healthcare system. Um, I mean, even people who have insurance, like how much of a meme is it to bitch about your HMOs and like having to go through your preferred network and all this shit? It's like so bad. It's literally a fucking meme at this point.
Okay. I don't know. For my position is, I don't know if the universal healthcare system is just gonna solve all those problems just because it's the universal healthcare system.
Okay, so I didn't say, and I actually made it really clear, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to solve every problem. But what it is going to do is it's going to make sure that people aren't dying when they don't have to. It's going to
Yeah,
make sure that
but
people
people
get
are
their
always gonna die,
medications. Okay, sure.
right?
Sure. So does that mean we should never try to prevent anybody from dying ever? No, of course not, right?
Okay.
So the whole purpose of having healthcare is to get people like the medicine they need and all that. So like this isn't happening. by a lot in this country. We're seeing a huge deficit in this. This is a responsibility that's not being accounted for. Like I said, if we can justify spending as much as we do on the military for the general welfare of the United States, which whether no matter how I feel about that, it is what it is. Like there is some argument to be made that this is to protect our people. Then the argument could also be made that we have to protect our people from the dangers of getting sick, which is a significantly more real threat to the average American than terrorism, than foreign entities. Like,
Hmm.
like even if we like more people die every year that don't have insurance than we do from like wars, right?
Yeah, but if you can't afford insurance, it's not the whole point of Medicaid for
Yeah,
low
but
income.
not everybody qualifies. Medicaid turns off its enrollment program stuff because there's a lack of funding for it because we don't have a unified system. Like for instance, I can't get when the coronavirus started, I couldn't get health care because they weren't accepting anybody new. My job got put on hold and I wasn't able to get health care because nobody was accepting new enrollments. Um, this is bad. If we had a unified system, this wouldn't have even been an issue for a lot of people. Also, the fact that we have our insurance tied to employment is fucking crazy in the United States. This has led to like really crazy things like making sure that people only work 38 hours so they don't qualify full time so they don't have to pay health care. This is something that like every company does their damnedest to dodge. It just ends up with us like playing these fucking shitty games to try to make sure that we don't have to insure
Oh,
people.
wait, your mic's getting like covered or something.
Is this better?
Yeah.
I was actually just too close to it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So in the United States, we play these like weird games. Like I said, the majority of the people in the United States that have health insurance, not provided from the government, are tied to their employment, and this has led to things like the death of full-time work. Since businesses know that they have to provide health care to any worker that is full time, they make sure that they work 38 hours instead, which means we're going to have more people. We have companies actively working against people to make sure they don't have to pay out for health care. So even like the systems that we do have in place are failing miserably, and this is what I mean. It's not like this is inherent in markets. This is how markets are. They're just designed to respond, which is fine. I'm a big fan of markets, but we have to acknowledge that there's certain areas that markets fail at, and we need social programs to like fix this. Because I like capitalism. I want to preserve it the best I can, but like no system's perfect. Capitalism isn't like some magical system that makes everything perfect. So we have to take an approach to make sure that we fix these fallacies, to make sure that we're doing right by our people. And not only that too, like you give people these things like healthcare, like there's no argument made like mooching for healthcare. You know, these are things that are going to increase patriotism. These are things that are going to increase productivity. Like having healthcare is like just wholly good for society. We end up spending less money later on in life on healthcare because people are getting it early in life. Like I said, we see people, and not only that too, like as far as obesity goes, and like some of our other problems, when you give people healthcare, they also get access to mental health care, which means we're gonna have less fucking nuts shooting people in the fucking face for no fucking reason. We're gonna have less people being overweight because they're getting their mental health taken care of. A lot of our problems in the United States can be improved, not fixed, but improved with the advent of people having health care. Also, too, like just like the stigma of a lot of these like mental health problems and physical health problems that people have can be cleared up when everybody gets treatment at an early age. These things are just good. We can do so like the good that comes from providing healthcare for everybody extends far out beyond just being able to go to the doctor and get your medicine. Although these things are extraordinarily important in and of themselves.
So how come any state government introduced single payer healthcare? I'm assuming that no state has. I don't know if you know of a state that has done
Yeah,
a
I mean, I would assume that this is it's just not going to be as effective as a system because different states have different economies. Not every state can sustain it on its own. Like some states produce a lot less via like per person as we do as for a whole country. So like one of the largest contributors to universal health care in this country would be one of our largest economies, which is a state that's actually all about it. California is
yeah.
one of the largest economies in the entire world. They would help be funding healthcare for the entire country by and large.
Okay. Yeah, but the thing is this,
It has
I'm
massive
unless I
support
could be
there.
wrong, but how come the state of California hasn't introduced a single payer healthcare system in their state?
I mean, I mean, I can't tell you why something
It would make
doesn't
sense,
happen.
right? It's a Democratic stronghold. Everybody's a Democrat, right? Pretty much. Would it make sense that they should be able to do it? They have the money. I'm assuming that they have the money if they have the largest economy.
Actually, California does have Medi-Cal offers low cost or free health coverage to eligible California residents with limited income. Covered
That's all
California's
state.
state's health insurance marketplace, where Californians can shop health plans, yada yada yada. So they do have certain options, but I don't know if they even can do that.
Bro, why not?
Well, yeah, because you would need a federal level to make a universal state healthcare, because you would be taking away other people's healthcares, and like the states don't have the power to do that. This has to be
But
something that's at the federal level. You can't take away people's private insurance at a state level. This has to be something that happens at a federal level, because these
I
companies.
don't I
Well,
don't think the federal has the power to do that either.
well, it absolutely does.
Under what jurisdiction and laws and
Well,
stuff
well,
can it just
no,
take it away?
you'd have to tell me why it doesn't.
Why it doesn't?
Yeah.
Because
What's it violating?
the what was it? 16th Amendment? I'm just Oh no, it's not 16th Amendment.
Congress shall have power to collect. Yeah, actually, if anything, the 16th Amendment would help make my case.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot which amendment this was. The 10th Amendment.
The 10th Amendment?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't. The 10th Amendment is the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, no prohibited to its states, or reserved to the states respectively, or to the people.
No. The power is not delegated by the Constitution nor prohibited by the states reserved respectively.
Yeah, the Constitution that doesn't give the power to the federal
Okay,
government to take away people's
okay, but we already have precedent that we can have national policy. We have national policy that overrides states all over the place.
executive
This-
orders.
No, not executive orders. We have national policy. Like for instance, but if I mean, there might be something to say that maybe a state could make a case to opt out of a national program, and they might have some case there. But the federal government absolutely has the right to make like umbrella policy for the entire country. We do it all the time. That's what federal law
No,
is.
no. So no. So my original point was, how come California doesn't do this, right? And you're saying, oh well, the states doesn't have the right to take away those private
Well, I said
insurance
I said I
companies.
don't know if they do.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that if the federal government tries to do that, it's going to violate the 10th Amendment.
But also
It's
too,
not
like,
it's not in their power to strip away the private insurance of a state.
but also
They
too, like,
can't do
I'm
that.
not here to tell you why a state does or doesn't do something. I'm telling you why we should have
Yeah, but if
national
you
health
believe
care.
in this so much, and you have Democrats that also believe in this, and you have a stronghold like California, which you just said that they are full,
Okay,
they're
but
full,
I
they
can't
want
tell
to
you
do
why
it.
other people don't do the things that they're not doing, but I can tell you how it works in places where they do it. Okay, like I can't tell you, like, this is a non argumentable point. Like, I don't know any of these
It just
people.
doesn't make sense if it's this effective.
Yeah.
How come a state that really wants it, and if they're able to pass it because it's a Democratic stronghold,
Like I
how
said, I
come
can't tell you.
they're not passing it?
Saying that California doesn't have
You see how that's
universal health care.
different?
Hang on. Saying that California doesn't have universal health care for its state is not an argument against national health care.
Yeah, but the thing is, I want to see it be tried,
We
right?
can see it be tried. I just gave you two examples, Canada and the UK, and every argument you gave me against it, I debunked like in a matter of 2 minutes or less.
Not only that, but again,
Not only
so
what?
I brought up the expense of national health care, right? And
Yeah.
I said it was $30 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the economist that said how much was it going to cost? Was it less than that? More?
It would be $3.6 trillion.
Three
Sorry,
point
is what
six.
we're paying right now. Let's see. Healthcare price in the United States. Let's see. U.S. healthcare spending has increased to reach 10,793 per person. Oh no, it's gone up since then too. So right now we're spending $3.6 trillion a year. Let's see.
in healthcare.
Yep, 1 minute. How much does
But the federal
cost
government
per
budget is
person?
4 trillion.
Hang on a minute. Yeah, we're spending. Okay, so for instance, your per capita, Canada pays $7,068 per person in healthcare, whereas we pay, and they're covering everybody, but we pay per person $10,739. So they're actually spending over 30% more. We're spending 30% more per person than Canada is. So I think
So
I mean
that's
we've covered taxes being the same, if not lower in some areas, or marginally higher in some areas. So we're gonna call it like the same since it averages out to that. But then when it comes to like how much we're actually spending per person, Canada spends less. So like I don't see like your argument like I would like to see it work. We see it work.
yeah. The thing is the expense. So I'm 34 trillion dollars, right? If you
No,
do the
no,
single payer.
I don't know where you're pulling this number from. Uh, w-
Yeah, I'll give you a link.
okay, but I just gave you the per person cost. Right now, we're spending $11,172 per person, right? Canada
Okay.
is spending $7,068 per person. So
Okay.
we would be decreasing if we move to a system like this. We're decreasing our per person. So it doesn't matter how much it costs. This is less now, right?
Yeah, but the thing is what doesn't make sense to me, okay,
Yeah,
is that if you do a single payer, it's gonna come out of taxpayers' money,
yeah.
right? I'm seeing $34 trillion is what's gonna over the next 10 years, right? And
Yeah,
what we got
okay.
now,
So I would like to point out that at our current rates, it's $35 trillion for 10 years.
see 1.5 trillion
Oh,
over
so
the
wait,
10
sorry.
years.
It's 3.6 trillion per year in the United States right now. So that's 36 trillion. So the numbers you're giving me supports my argument that it's lower.
I'm seeing $1.5 trillion
Where?
over the next 10 years, or with how we have it now, with where we
What's
have
your
it with the
where are you getting this number
yeah.
from?
I'll give you this link. It was the research done by urban.org.
I'm
Uh,
on I'm on CMS.gov. It's Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
It just got really quiet in here. What happened?
I don't know. I think he was reading.
Oh,
Okay, so this is Urban Institute. I'm pulling my figures from like government websites here.
He's right though.
How various reform options compare. So this actually has like I don't know which one you're looking at, but this is like
I'm saying what we have now.
coverage and cost. The reform plan achieves universal health coverage for people legally in the United States, covering 2.56 million people who would otherwise be uninsured. Yeah, so actually the universal health care, it says that it would increase by 1.5 billion or 1.5 trillion over 10 years. So we're talking 150 billion per year. That's it, an increase to cover all these everybody who's uninsured on the link that you just gave me. This is extremely marginal when it comes to like overall spending.
National spending on healthcare will grow by 720 billion. Federal government spending will increase by 2017 or $34 trillion.
See,
National spending
you're
of
looking there's different systems here that are
yeah,
that
yeah,
are being
the
applied
three of
to.
them.
The one that you're looking at also includes healthcare for illegal immigrants as well.
Okay, so you wouldn't want that to be a thing.
Well, I mean, you can't, as far as I know, you can't get any like real services if
Yeah,
you're not a
but
citizen. So,
you do have politicians. I believe it was even Kamala Harris I was trying to push
yep,
for.
this isn't like, but this isn't my argument. You can't use
Yeah,
other
no.
people's arguments against like what I'm proposing.
Okay, so what you are proposing? Okay, so the thing is that that hasn't been proposed yet by anyone through government. I don't think, at
Nobody in
least.
governments have. I mean, Bernie Sanders proposed healthcare for Medicaid for all. Um, I mean,
Bernie
we've
Sanders
had
economics work.
what?
Bernie Sanders does not know how economics work.
Okay, I mean that's irrelevant to like that's non sequitur to what I'm talking about though.
No, I'm just saying you said Bernie Sanders, but yeah, Bernie Sanders does
I,
not know
okay, but
how.
that's not relevant to nobody has proposed this before.
Yeah, 720 billion right now.
To be honest, I wasn't listening. I just heard Bernie Sanders and government for
Yeah,
all. So I
yeah,
just,
that's fine. So I just wanted to be clear that it was a non sequitur. Like I don't care if you chime in with that. I just want to make sure that like like the right way of thinking, and then even for like Cletus who's listening, and anybody who might be
What was
watching
that?
my stream, that they understand that this is like completely irrelevant to the argument being had.
I mean, and that's the thing is too expensive. I mean, having a national. Oh my god.
that boy.
How come it's not too expensive for the places that have it?
Because they have a lot less people.
I mean, if you have more people, you have more people contributing taxes too, right?
Yeah, but I guess I don't know if even
Actually, hang on a minute. Okay, cool. So nearly every European country has it, and Europe as a whole has more. Europe has more people, more than twice as many people than the United States has. I mean, pretty much almost every single other industrialized country, like first world country, has it, but for some reason, the United States has some magical property that just makes it fail, even though we've never tried it. Like, isn't it? Doesn't it seem weird that like it seems like it works everywhere else, but like for some reason, like the greatest country in the world can't seem to make this thing work that seems to be super fucking simple for every other country.
Yeah, it's simple. It's just raising taxes, but taxation's theft. So
Yeah, okay, it's actually decreasing taxes overall because of how much we're spending on our current.
uh,
So then you should like this because we'd be taking less money out of people's pockets overall.
This is honestly the first time me hearing that it would decrease taxes.
This is like pretty well known stuff. Yeah, universal healthcare has a net gain on the economy.
And it would decrease taxes so people have more money in their pockets.
Let's see. So another thing to point out too is that people pay for healthcare anyways, so that's money coming out of their pocket. And if they're paying lower than that than they would pay for healthcare, then now they are having less money taken out of their pocket, right?
Let me see. I don't know how much people.
Also, too, when you add universal healthcare into it, this significantly helps the economy by way of now you have skilled laborers that are more willing to work for small businesses that otherwise couldn't afford to pay for healthcare for people that are only going to be able to take a job because although they're skilled laborers and they can make a decent amount of money, they have to find a job that also gives them health coverage. Now small businesses can, actually get an edge against some of these bigger companies by getting like actual skilled workers that don't have to rely on this employer to provide them healthcare in addition to a good wage. This would go far and wide as making us more competitive economically. This would go a long way in creating more small business in the United States, which, like, I think, like anybody who knows anything about economics knows that it's the backbone of our economy, and the degradation of the small business sector is one of the main reasons why we hurt so bad economically in this country. So, like, the amount of ripple effects that happen from universal health care are so strong for the United States that it's honestly absurd that anybody who is like fiscally minded wouldn't want universal health care.
Okay.
Like, one of the biggest downsides to universal health care is losing the healthcare insurance jobs. But then we end up creating a bunch of other jobs, like how I just said, to make up for it. But there would be a temporary lapse in a temporary loss in jobs initially when this happened. But also, like I said too, I think at a certain point you do have to measure the lives of human beings in dollars, and the numbers that we're saving is also going to be significant. And not only that, too, quality of life improvements. When you have people that have the medications they need, they're going to be more productive, happier, better workers, better producers, better members of society. And we're gonna get, and like all those other like super cool mental health effects from having universal health care that we talked about as well.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, that's no, it's interesting. I know a lot of people try to tackle this on a more morality standpoint.
Sure,
I'm sure you probably heard of well, I shouldn't be forced to pay other people's healthcare and stuff. Well, that's kind
sure.
of like a subjective thing, right? I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, but the argument can also be made that like there are certain requirements that everybody has to have to be in a society to begin with. Like, so for instance, saying like I shouldn't have to pay money for other people's healthcare is kind of like saying, well, just because some people don't know how to drive when they're drunk doesn't mean I should be punished and not be allowed to drive when I'm drunk. Like, dog, I am the best drunk driver in the fucking world. I'm an even better driver. I have a perfect fucking record, and I drive drunk all the time. But if I get pulled over by cops, now I gotta go to fucking prison? What kind of bullshit is this? How is this fair to me? You see what I'm saying? Like, when we live in a
no,
society, we
I
have to.
honestly don't.
Just it's the exact same principle is that I have to pay for somebody else, whether it's money. And what does money equal? Money equals time out of my life, right?
Mm,
My
I
money is
guess.
reflective of my time and my effort. So if I get taken away to prison, you're taking away my capacity to produce, but you're taking away my time, my capacity to make money. So I mean, essentially, we're talking about the same thing. You're taking away my freedom. Uh, to some capacity, like my ability to make money is impacting my freedom. The amount of money I have is impacting my freedom. Taking me to prison is impacting my freedom. This is what these things really boil down to. So when
But
when
but
we
but
when
you
we live
choose
in a
to drink or drive.
sure, but what I'm saying is, yeah, I should be allowed to though, right? Because I'm responsible. Like, why should I have to have my right to drink and drive taken away because other assholes don't know how to do it right?
But the thing is that the only reason why it gets taken away is because you show signs of you not being able to operate a vehicle.
Not me, not me. I can drink and drive
Well,
just fine. So how come I can't? How come I'm not allowed
well, you
to?
can, you can. No one's stopping you physically.
But if somebody who's a wild driver smashes into me, all of a sudden it's my fault, even though I didn't do anything wrong.
If a wild driver crashes into you,
Yeah, if I'm driving just fine drunk and somebody runs a red light and smashes into me and kills themselves, now I'm gonna go to prison for killing this person. How is that right?
I don't even know if that's how it works.
That's absolutely how it works. You are guilty for any accidents that happens if you're intoxicated behind a vehicle, because you have no legal right to be in the vehicle if you're intoxicated to begin with. Yeah, that's totally how that works.
Okay, so
Do
I
you
still
see
don't
what I'm trying
understand
to
how
illustrate, right?
I
We all
really
have
can't. Like I really am trying to. I just I just
My
don't know
point is that we
how.
all have requirements and rules imposed upon us. We all have some sort of sanctions put against us for living in a society. We all have to follow rules. We all have to follow laws in order to make the society worth living in. And the idea is that these rules and laws are put in place to make sure that everybody's getting their fair shake. And
But
if we're not,
how is it a fair shake if you're forced to pay for other people's healthcare?
how is it a fair shake if I'm gonna die because I can't, like, I'm so okay, so how about this then? What about autistic people who can't
What about
possibly
them?
work? They should just die of starvation, right? And not have any medicine ever because you don't want to pay for it.
I'm not, I don't think I should be forced to.
Yeah, so so the rational conclusion is they should die, right?
I'm saying I shouldn't be forced to pay for their medicine.
So then they should die.
Why do you think they should die?
Well, if you're not going to pay for it, and that's the only way
That's
that they can
that's
get it
just
because
one
they
Charity?
can't do it.
I think
Charity?
a way to go around that, just so I can, I'm just gonna hop in real quick, is that it should be optional if you should pay for it. Because maybe some people would want to pay for it. I don't think we should be forced to pay for stuff that we don't necessarily want. For
But
example,
you have
Jake,
to already.
What about
just-
children though, Jake? Would you pay for a child, or would you force people to pay for a child's health care if they don't have any parents to pay for it?
what do you mean?
Is that not what we're talking about? I just cut in, but are we talking about forced to pay for health care?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said, what about a child's health care? If he doesn't have parents who can afford it, would you pay for a child's health care through taxes? By forced taxes?
Personally, no. If it's not my child, no.
Okay, so what if we don't have enough people willing to chip in then? So then fuck these kids, they need to
That's
die,
why-
right?
No, that's why there's charities. That's why there's
No, okay, what
like,
if there's insufficient charities and insufficient goodwill among people because they're not required to do it? Then fuck these kids, they should die, right?
Well, I just think no
Obviously-
one should be forced.
Okay, so obviously we know for a fact that this goodwill and charity isn't enough because if it was, we wouldn't be having this discussion. And we do know that people are dying because of this. So the like
Again, which is why I said I didn't even want to bring it up that deeply. It's on a moral standpoint, which is a subjective standpoint.
yeah, but I'm arguing the moral standpoint, but I'm also trying to point out the moral conclusion of what you're suggesting.
I should not be forced to pay for anyone's healthcare. I don't care if it's a 2-year-old or a 99-year-old.
Right, so they should die then.
Okay.
I don't think they should die.
Well, that's the conclusion that you're drawing here. If you're not paying for it, nobody else is paying for it.
I mean, so you think everybody would just not pay for it? I mean,
I
maybe
think
some
that's
will.
literally happening
Maybe
right
not.
now. That's actually what's happening. So yeah, I do think that is the conclusion because we can see
Well,
it play out in
I'm just-
reality.
I'm confused on the moral process of this, because, like, why is a child growing up with parents who can't pay for his health care dying? Why is that less immoral than taking some extra money from some guy who has a job?
Have someone else to pay for it is morally wrong.
Because money is more valuable than human life in this scenario.
It's morally wrong to force someone to pay for someone else's healthcare.
Okay, is it more morally wrong than letting a child die?
It's why should it affect my morals?
No,
But I'm not making that
that's-
child die, right?
That's fine, but I'm asking you to like just answer this question. I'm super curious to see like
But
what
see-
your answer to that is. So if
But
you're
see,
saying
then, go ahead.
so is your money is preserving like not all of your money, but is preserving a fraction of your money worth more than the life of a child, morally speaking? How
Do it
much?
voluntarily? If I want to
how-
do voluntarily,
So how much
fine.
money is a life worth then?
Huh.
Morally speaking, how much monetary value does a child's life have?
no, life doesn't have a monetary value.
Well, it has
does, though,
to.
because look,
Yeah.
like, see, the weird thing is like, a child walking on the street with no health care, no food, anything, him falling over and dying, to you is not worth taxation. But if that same child's walking down the street and hasn't died yet, and some random man comes by and punches him, then you're fine with tax dollars going to arrest that man who punched the child. Why is that now immoral and worth funding?
Because that man violated that person's right.
But don't we all have the
But
rights to
you-
life in the pursuit of happiness? This child doesn't have access to the pursuit of life or the pursuit of happiness because he's barred by this like paywall of just having medication to function.
The pursuit of life and happiness.
But,
That's not does not mean entitlement.
but can children pursue life or happiness?
Sure, they can. I have.
No, like a child who has no parents to pay for their health care, who
So
has no
they're an
economic
orphan.
support by any adult.
Yeah,
So
we're
Does he
saying
so
have
they
the
they're an
ability to-
orphan.
Do what?
So that child's an orphan.
yes.
Yeah.
That, yeah, there's definitely programs to help with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
charities
they're
help with
funded
that.
by the
Taxation to pay for it?
government.
Well, no, I'm saying charities. No, programs does not automatically mean government funded. They could be
Yeah,
private.
okay, they
But you
could be,
wouldn't
but they're
justify
often
it.
not. So here's the thing: you're acting like these
I
problems do
wouldn't
get
know the
solved
data
by
for that
charity.
if it. Huh?
So the problem is that what you're suggesting is that charities and kindness of people will take care of these things, but that doesn't bear out in reality. If it did, we literally wouldn't be having this conversation because the goodwill and charities would have already taken care of this. It doesn't happen. Like you're living in this like utopiast world where everything's taken care of by like nice people, but that's not real. It's made up.
I'm just saying that people shouldn't be forced to take care of other people.
Look, it's an unfortunate side effect of living in a society. People shouldn't be forced. You say people shouldn't be forced to take care of other people, but isn't that the whole argument against drunk driving? Is that my actions are impeded because of other people? Like I can't drink and drive because I might hurt other people.
I mean, at all times in even a libertarian system, you're going to be paying for other people's mistakes and for other people's or supporting other people. I mean, you with your tax dollars could pay for some guy on the other side of the state who got robbed by some random man. You have no involvement in that. It wasn't your responsibility of any of it, but you're still forced by the government to pay for it.
Yeah, you have to pay for police. You have to pay for military. You have to pay for courts. This is just one other thing that we need to have like a good functioning society.
But my thing is like usually libertarians are in complete support of the government supporting children and mentally handicapped people because the idea of libertarianism is the ability to consent to transactions, and if you don't have enough money, that's your fault for not consenting to the right transactions. But children and mentally handicapped people don't have the ability to consent. So why do you not support government support of those people?
Well, no, we were all the whole point was arguing about universal health care.
Yeah.
But now you get into specifics.
No,
So you wanna cover
switch it to
specific people?
morality. So we're giving examples of like why what you're saying isn't morally consistent.
Like,
Yeah,
can you
it is
explain to me
consistent.
like
I don't know
the
how it's not
base-
consistent.
Okay.
Well, can you explain to me like the base morality of libertarianism, the idea of consenting and
I'm
stuff?
not even a libertarian, so I don't even know.
So
I mean, the stuff you're talking about is purely libertarianism.
okay. So sure. Let me clarify Ziller's position here. Can you explain the morality of why taxation should never ever be allowed in any capacity whatsoever?
I never said that.
Oh, so it's just when it comes to healthcare.
Basically, when does taxing now become moral?
Yeah. When is it morally justified to tax then?
Well, it's
Where do
a
we draw the
subjective
line?
thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking
Yeah,
you.
yeah, but the thing, who does draw the line?
We're asking
You are
your
right now in this
opinion. You draw the line,
conversation.
clearly.
So that's what I'm asking.
Okay. So, when it comes to my line with taxations, right? I could be wrong. My terminologies is, I do believe we should pay for public service of police, firemen, and then but when it comes to
Courts, I would
healthcare, right?
assume.
Courts,
So
sure,
otherwise,
yeah.
please not. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I have to ask you, why police and why? Well, actually, more importantly, why firefighters? Why should we pay for firefighters? What's the moral reason that we would pay for them?
So to pay for firefighters would be, to obviously, stop any fires from happening. That's probably the main thing.
Why is
right?
this morally
Firefighters.
important?
I never said it was.
This is
Wait, but
literally what
you
we're
act
talking
like you're
about.
justifying taxation through things where one person's forcing something on another person. But me starting a fire in my own house and the firemen coming to stop it, nobody forced the fire upon me. That was my mistake. Why should the government pay for it?
I mean, he could make the argument that they're not required to
And
put
that,
out that
fuck
fire.
you then.
Okay, so
They're
what I'm
what?
saying is, I said he
Yeah,
can
no,
make the
like no.
argument that they're not required to help you because you did it to yourself. No, but what I'm saying is, you're saying I agree that we should pay taxes for firefighters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the
Okay,
moral
then answer my question.
justification for paying for firefighters? No, he did. He said that like the firefighters just wouldn't go and help you because you said it yourself.
Okay, so which fires are the fires fighting? I mean, the firefighters fighting then. Which ones are the ones that should be paid for by government money?
Ugh.
Okay.
But wait. Before we
So-
go to that, I'm just super curious. Why what is the moral justification for paying for firefighters to begin with? So like fire is bad. Why is fire morally bad? To the point to where we have to take this immoral action of taxing somebody.
So if a fire is uncontrollable, right? If it's not being tamed, it
Yeah.
will spread, right?
Sure.
So when it comes to fires, I would say the aspect of if you let a fire be unattended, it could spread to other people, right?
So is this okay? But we're not talking about why fire is bad to the point to
Okay,
where we have to
but-
commit an immoral act here.
So you're
So you're saying
the
it
government should only
spreads-
pay to stop fires that now have gone from the person who started it to the other people around him?
But not all fires are started by people, so that's not really. Wait, I'm just super curious about the morality of getting rid of fires here. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is fire bad? Why are fires bad enough to commit the immoral action to tax somebody?
Well, I don't think
Saying it spreads
this-
is fine, but like we understand that it spreads, but you're not explaining to me why it's spreading is bad because we don't know why fires are bad enough to commit the immoral action of taxation. So why are
well,
fires bad?
I don't think taxes are immoral.
Well, you just said that it was immoral. To
I'm
tax
I'm,
somebody
I'm
for
fine with some
healthcare.
taxes and I'm fine with other taxes.
Right,
I'm not
sure,
fine.
that's fine.
But
Okay, so
that's
why-
that's a subjective thing.
Correct. I'm just
Okay.
trying to.
So-
I'm just trying to
So
understand.
public services are a
Wait,
commodity.
Hang on. Why is fire? Why is it okay to pay for fire? It's like we have a moral argument to pay for firefighters because fire is bad. I understand that. So like, why morally are fires bad enough to pay for?
Because it could damage the city and damage property.
So okay, so nothing about the lives. It's just property only.
And risk lives.
Okay, so can't we make the exact same argument for people being sick and not getting treated? One, illnesses can spread to other people, cause more damage, and they can cost us lives. Mental illness can cause property damage.
So then, what would be the line for illness? Like, are we talking about preconditions, which mean you already agree that should be covered?
No. You said that should be accepted to acquire. You shouldn't be able to be denied insurance strictly
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
reason.
yeah,
But you can
yeah,
still
my
be
bad,
denied.
yeah.
But you can still be denied for not having money. But you're saying it's okay for us to take money out of your pocket to pay for fires, for the exact same reasons why I'm saying it's okay for us to take money out of your pocket to pay for health care. These are the exact same moral arguments. It just seems like you don't like health care. Because we're both making the exact same moral argument at its base.
And, so then, my thing is, what is the line when it comes to covering
No,
everybody?
wait. Wait a minute. Just answer my question. You're
What?
not addressing my concern here.
Okay.
Your argument for the fire at the base moral foundation here is my exact argument for healthcare.
Okay.
So why is like I guess I don't understand why.
Okay.
where this
So
inconsistency
then,
comes
what is
from.
the line when it comes to covering people with healthcare?
What is the line
So
with fires?
even if it's self-inflicted stuff, right? Someone's being a jackass and they need medical attention.
Well, who gets to decide whether it's self-inflicted or not? And
Well,
to a
you
certain
see, so then what's the line?
well, it would just be best if we got rid of all the fires, right?
What about someone that's that doesn't take care of themselves, right?
Yeah, what about
And don't-
somebody who
don't give a
has
fuck.
faulty wiring in their building too? Like, I guess what I'm saying is like it's just best if we make sure that all
Yeah,
the
but-
fires get put out, right? We should make sure that all the fires get put out, because if we start putting limitations on it, then fires that are justifiably could be put out aren't going to be put out, and that's super bad. So it's just best if we make sure that firefighters go to every fire and put out all the fires, so that way we don't have to worry about the fires, right? It gets really bad if we start arbitrarily deciding which fires to put out, which ones not to put out, right?
Yeah, but the thing is when it comes to fires, fires usually spreads, right? And then depending on what type of illness,
Damages from
not all
illnesses
illnesses
spread too. Even if it's not contagious, the person who's sick is going to become a drain on something else, financially, or like physically, because people that are sick sometimes end up with, even if it's not a mental illness, it can develop into a mental illness from you being sick for a long time. Like, these things all have like financial repercussions of not being treated. Like, you can't just say that like
who?
this is going to be contained. What's that?
To who?
To the people around them, to their communities. They become a burden on their communities, for sure. Whether it be through
Because
contagion or like exacerbated illness to where they're not able to do anything, they're gonna just end up becoming a drain on their community.
how?
I just explained it to you.
Yeah, but how are they being a drain? By what means are they being a drain? If their medical stuff is not being covered by other people.
Well, I just explained to you. Well, one, if you're super sick, you're not going to be working, so you're going to be taking up resources that you're not paying for. You're going to
What
you could be
resources?
contagious.
Well, he doesn't believe in those resources that you were taking up.
But it happens.
What resources?
Like housing. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, it happens.
Okay,
So this is
if you
real.
can't afford housing, then you're gonna get Medicaid. That's like
That's not true.
really.
Yeah, that's not always the case.
So if you can't afford housing, I mean, listen, man, I've been in public housing, I've been used Medicaid, definitely. I was low income.
Yeah, but
If you can't afford a housing, you're gonna get covered by Medicaid.
your
This is crazy.
your experiences aren't indicative of what everybody else's experiences are.
So
I've been
guess
in positions where I couldn't afford housing and I still couldn't get health care. When I was 26 years old, I was literally homeless, and I was told by my DHS worker, "You are a 26-year-old white male. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get health insurance," and that was it. I couldn't get anything, and that was on my third appointment there. So like my anecdote kind of like shows that your anecdote isn't accurate.
Well, I guess I just will have to see, like what's the requirements on getting on Medicaid. What income uh you got to be. I know usually I think it's like if you're like below 60% of the median income of your state or some shit like that, you could be
What about
qualified
the
for
people that are what about the
Medicaid.
people that are in the middle? Wait, you support Medicaid?
Do I support Medicaid?
Yeah. Like, I feel
Well,
like we're going between these weird arguments, like if we're talking about morality, and then we shift over to some like other like pragmatic point that's not a moral argument. I feel like there's a lot of goalpost moving here. It's
no,
super
no,
hard to
I
like
know.
try to pin down a point.
I don't support Medicaid.
Okay, well then
Listen,
your
so you know
argument.
what? Actually, let me redraw my line when it comes to healthcare and stuff.
Wait,
So
this
if
is getting
you,
really convoluted. Like it feels like everything's just like arbitrary to like
well,
how you want to dodge
again,
my point.
hey, I'm just a talker.
Yeah, but you're talking super inconsistently.
But that's why I'm a talker, not a debater, right?
It feels
And
like
I
it feels
told
like
you
don't.
that I'm not a debater. I'm a talker.
That's fine. It just feels like
Okay.
you don't even believe in the points that you're trying to make. You're just trying to like say stuff. But at the same time you're still putting out strong points out there and making moral claims, but like as soon as I challenge it, you move to another non sequitur.
Just grabbed y'all back.
What the hell?
I can move people.
Why'd you move him?
I didn't move him. I moved you both back.
How did we get moved to begin with?
I don't know how you got moved. I was sitting on my bed.
Oh.
Whatever.
I I guess
So
my issue here is that it seems like whenever I make a point, like you move the goalpost in a way to where you avoid addressing the thing that I said, and then you go right back to the thing that you said that like I've already dismantled and shown to be not valid. So it makes it hard to have like a cohesive conversation to where we're actually making any progress because we do
you can
we
stop
do this
engaging,
weird.
you know.
That's not. Come on, man. I'm just trying to. What I'm saying is like it's not even like you're backtracking. It's like you're sidestepping, and then going back to your original point as though like I didn't already make a case that you couldn't say anything about, and then it's just this pretend as though that I didn't make any of these points that make the stances that you were saying completely wrong or irrelevant, and there's just no acknowledgement of this. So it's almost like I'm talking to you, I'm listening to you, I'm talking to you, and then you're just like a repeating what you had just said or just like jumping off into something else that has nothing to do with anything that we were talking about, but that you somehow try to relate that to like your original point as though your original point hadn't been debunked. So I'm just like I guess I'm just a little confused at what the aim here is.
Nigga, I'm just talking, my guy. That's it. That's it, man.
It's like
If you want more
this is a good
coherence
example.
conversation, you could talk to someone else. If you want to do that, you go ahead.
Do you not understand what I'm saying?
So
Like I guess I'm
let's
just like vying for coherence here.
sure, if you want more coherence with someone, I guess you could talk to someone else, right?
I guess so, but you invited
Okay.
me here to
I didn't.
talk.
I didn't. I invited you for Jake, but Jake dipped. So I was like, I guess I'll talk to you.
Oh,
But so
that's
I
true. It
guess
doesn't seem like Jake wants to talk to me.
so I guess
When I joined, y'all were talking,
so
so I was letting y'all do your thing.
so I guess let's no let's try. I'm not. I'm gonna try to get somewhere with you. Okay. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Sure. I guess
All right.
my complaint is it feels like you're debating me in bad faith a lot.
Well, I'm not a debater. I'm a talking.
Okay, but you're saying things back to what I'm saying. You're literally engaging in debate, but you're
Oh
just doing it
oh
in bad
I just
faith.
wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk.
Okay, okay, but you're talking. You know, like I mean, do we need to break down like the terminology of what debate means? Because you've literally been doing
I'm not
it.
debating.
That's literally what's been happening. You've been attempting to tell me why the things that I'm saying are wrong, and then when I tell you the things that you're
No,
saying are wrong, you're
I'm just
defending
drawing
them.
concerns. I was drawing concerns. I hear in my perspective.
Yeah, but then when I like give you information that like resolves those, you are not you're not acknowledging it, and you're just continuing to like on the same stance. It's like we're talking to two different people almost.
So how about this? Okay. Um, when it comes to healthcare, right? Let's say if you get physically fucked up. No, if you are physically fucked up, right? Or mentally, I'll be fine with the taxes for to cover healthcare. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you are capable, so when it comes to like poor people, right? If you are capable of obtaining, uh, you know, a higher income to then afford, um, healthcare, then I don't think there should be a safety net.
Okay.
But, like, so I know you brought up the whole autism thing, right? When people are born autistic, right? Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate thing, and they have no control over that. What was the medicine they need? Whatever, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, were you
Fine.
just saying like an autistic person with health
Autistic
conditions
people
that
don't
can't?
need medicine. They
Yeah, no,
just
no,
have.
no, no. In my scenario, the autistic person wasn't able to get like medicines they need for health conditions that they have. Like the idea of using autism here was saying that they don't have the mental wherewithal to do the things they
what?
need to do to provide for themselves
Okay, yeah, if you can't like physically work at all,
or mentally.
then yeah, then sure, I would agree to welfare for those people.
And that overrides the immorality of taxation.
Huh?
And that overrides the immorality of taxation that you had mentioned earlier.
But I don't think taxes are immorally wrong.
I mean, you did make that claim earlier.
I made that.
No, no, I was seeing other people make that claim,
Oh, okay. It's
and I was
the
like,
way that you said
I
it
don't want
made
to
it
get
sound
into
like
it
it was your
because you know
stance.
it's a subjective argument and stuff. So okay, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, so yeah, if you so an autistic person, they can't physically like you know work and stuff. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree to that type of welfare. Sure. Um, but let's say if you are able to work fine, um, and you just gotta achieve a better income if in order to afford healthcare, then I don't think there shouldn't be a safety net.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
is that
I
fair, or do
yeah.
you think
So
that's
I mean, maybe to a point, but the problem is that it starts to get like really arbitrary when we try to decide like where this line is drawn. Like that's one of your issues too. Is like where do we draw this line? So like
yeah,
my main issue is
which
that
makes it
then
tough.
yeah. So without some kind of umbrella protection, we're always going to be fucking over people who genuinely need this. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
but who genuinely needs this?
I mean so you're literally making my argument for me here. What I'm saying is, without an umbrella way to take care of everybody in this area where the market fails so bad, we're going to be having people that do need it. Like, we're not debating whether or not some people need it. We've already agreed on this.
Yeah, okay.
So you are going to get some of these people, like you said, if you fall under 60% of the average income, then you qualify for Medicaid. Now, you're going to have some people who do make that much money, but if they have to pay for their own health care, so like they'll let's say they make 50% less, but when they start paying for their own health care, now they're way below the poverty line. They're gonna have to pick between medicine and food or medicine and rent, or they're like these basic utilities that they need. These are the people that are gonna end up getting fucked. However, if you make it for everybody, if everybody who has income can pay for it, everybody's taken care of. Like, you might be paying for it, but one, you're paying less than you are already paying for health insurance, and you're also getting the benefit of it. Like by you paying less for your health insurance, now that autistic kid also gets health insurance. Like, to talk about a fucking win-win. Like, you get a coupon and he gets it. It's like better than buy one get one free. It's like take 80% off, get one free, dog. This shit's jamming. This is what we want.
Dude, if you do that, I don't know. Do you do TikTok? How'd you even get in here? I'm assuming TikTok.
No, I go around like certain like debate spheres on Discord.
Bro, how the fuck did you find this?
Buddy Ziller.
Okay, well no, but I was gonna say if you make that video, it's better. You get a coupon and you get it for free. That'd be a dope ass TikTok. No, but
However, if you think my shit's dope, feel free to follow me on Twitch. It's 100% free. I don't ever simp for subs, but I will say, hey, why don't you give me a follow if you're having fun? Following
thanks,
is
I don't
free.
use Twitch. Sorry.
Yeah.
I use YouTube. You have a YouTube?
Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube right now.
Oh, what's up,
If
guys? So okay, so
If you
so
just search my name into YouTube, the Elder Draws It, you'll find me on YouTube. Feel free to sub for me there. It's 100% free.
so I'll give you a sub. I'll give you a sub.
Yeah, boy.
Okay. So if we were able, I know you don't like ifs. So if we were able to draw the line, right?
Sure.
Would it be
Everybody.
cheaper?
I'd just say everybody. If I were to draw the line, I'd give it to everybody.
I don't know, man. It's just
Like,
I'm not.
because
I guess
I want to
I
put
don't
more
know.
money in more people's pocket, and I want to see like no people that don't need to die. It's like the same reason why I'm like mad pro-life, right? Because when we start putting arbitrary restrictions on it, like people who do genuinely need it medically and stuff, they're gonna end up getting denied by a system that's spending way too much time trying to deliberate over who needs what. And it's just there's a lot of systems where when we spend too much time deliberating who needs this and who needs that, we're just always gonna end up fucking over people that genuinely need shit. And if I give it to everybody, everybody who's already paying for health insurance is now paying less. Everybody who wasn't paying for health insurance because they couldn't afford it now has it. It's just fucking win-wins, man. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help everybody out here. But this like so weird moral idea that like somebody's getting something that they didn't quote unquote earn is holding us back from saving ourselves money and like helping society as a whole is so bizarre to me.
And and you said that. So what the fuck's going on with my screen? You said that I don't know. Maybe I misinterpreted you. It won't increase taxes at all on the people. If we were to introduce
So here's the
this
thing.
is
Yeah, taxes go up some, but what you're already paying for health insurance goes down in a way to where you're putting more money into your pocket still.
okay. So if the people who can't afford health insurance right now, right, and stay uninsured,
Yeah.
but if we introduce a single payer system and their taxes go up, wouldn't that mean they're now making even less money?
No. So here's the problem. Like regular health insurance has a profit motive. The insurance company itself is pocketing billions of dollars in money. We redirect this now. So there's no more profit motive. It's only taken over by the government, and so the government can charge significantly less to do this. Now we're going to drop that down. We're going to get rid of all the profits and drop our prices way the fuck down. However, we have more people that need to be on there, so we have to raise it some, but it's still going to be less than how much the insurance company was charging you for insurance because there's no profit motive, which means you, the guy who can afford healthcare, you're paying for your healthcare. Now you pay less. Let's say you pay $1,000 less per year for your health insurance, but you have to pay $400 more. Now we have to tack on $400 to make sure everybody has it. You're saving $600. It's kind of like saying, hey, why don't you come to my sub shop? When you buy a sub shop from me, it costs $2 less than the guy's sub shop next door, and whenever you buy one, I'm gonna give a homeless guy a free sub every time. You're like, well, fuck that. I would rather pay $2 extra to make sure that homeless guy starves. Such a weird stance to take.
Okay. I'm listening.
You
I'm
feel me?
listening. So, yeah, but my thing is just okay. So I guess I'm still confused on if people right now, right, can't afford health insurance, right, and they choose to stay uninsured, right? That's
Yeah,
uh, you would agree that that happens, right?
yeah, sure. Absolutely. But I would also say,
Hello?
like, yeah. Yeah. But I also say, too, that you do have, like, some sort of moral responsibility to have health insurance because when you don't have it, you're still going to need health care at some point. And when you go to
But
get the health care, you're taking money out of people's pockets who don't need to be paying for you because you should have been paying for it to begin with. Right?
but if you can't afford health insurance at your state, what makes you think they're able to afford a higher tax, which is still less money in their pocket?
Well, you're only getting taxed. Like, you have the income, right? You have some income, right?
Yeah, but you don't have the income to get health insurance.
Yeah, but the health insurance is going to be less, remember?
But the tax would be less than what someone would pay for.
Yeah, significantly.
Okay.
Significantly.
So
Like
so
I said,
you know,
when we compare to other countries, they on average pay the same amount in taxes. So some people might get stuck with a little bit more, but these are going to be the people who weren't able to. You're not going to find yourself in a position where people who couldn't afford health insurance to begin with are now paying more money overall. It's going to be people who not only could afford health insurance, but they were doing fucking great. This is the upper middle class people, like middle class and upper middle class and wealthy people that are now paying slightly more. But the overwhelming majority of people are going to be paying significantly less. And the only people that are going to be paying slightly more money are people they can absolutely afford to pay. And like, so it's kind of like it's similar to like the utilitarian question. Do you kill 200 people to save 100? Well, yeah, right? You gotta.
I never heard of this. Can you explain? Like, what is that?
So if you could kill 2 people to save 100 lives, you're morally obligated, right?
Oh, okay. I could just when I heard 200. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So to kill 2 people
Save 100.
to save 100 lives.
Yeah, this is a really extreme variation of what we're talking about.
Oof. Oof. Like I gotta do the killing.
I mean, you don't have to kill. Let's say you say, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a choice. I'm gonna kill these 2 people, or I'm gonna bomb that mall." You pick. If you don't pick, I'm doing both. You're gonna pick the two people, right?
Oof, this is
Except
tough.
except for in my scenario with the healthcare, instead like on the one side we are actually killing people. We are bombing the mall's worth of people, but instead of killing the two people, we're just taking some money out of their pocket.
Hmm.
And it's not even like demonstrably harming them.
Okay.
It's not like they can't afford their car or their house or any of their utilities. Their life isn't impacted in a seriously meaningful way.
Oh, so I guess right now, because I'm gonna end this like right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into more on the cost of
Sure.
how much it would be. I'm still kind of like doubting how you're saying it's gonna be cheaper.
Sure.
And yeah, and that'll be my stance.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least do you have any comment on the on my last thing that I said?
Oh, with the whole 2 people and 100 people and bomb and stuff.
Yeah, so like I said, like we're gonna convert that back to instead of saying like, well, like look, we actually aren't gonna kill the two people. Instead, we're just gonna take money out of their pocket, and now we're not gonna bomb the mall, since that's the reality of the healthcare situation. The very small percentage of people are gonna lose a little bit of money, not in a way that impacts their life in any meaningful way,
But you sure? Are you sure it's a
to
small
prevent the bombing.
percentage?
Yeah, absolutely. To where it's not going to impact their life in a meaningful, demonstrable way. To where they're not gonna like not be able to afford their car. They're not gonna be able to afford their house. Their utilities are gonna stay on. Like this might be like a couple of concerts a year less they have to go to. You know what I mean? Over the cost
But
of
you're not
killing.
certain on that.
Like we compare the tax rates, you and I already. These like on average, these people are yeah, absolutely. Like 5% from somebody who's making $100,000 a year is not a devastating amount of money.
I could just want at least with Bernie, right? I could
Yeah,
just
I'm
when he
not
said
talking.
that.
I'm not married to Bernie's idea. Like I'm a really big fan of the Canadian model. Like, but like I said to you, I don't care about my preferred universal healthcare system is whichever one we can push through Congress. I don't give a shit which one we pick as long as we get everybody health insurance.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think any's going to be pushed through Congress. Unless I guess if you have a majority Democratic, Republican, a majority Democratic House and Senate, and a president.
Well, it does look like we're kind of pushing towards that the way the polls look, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying
Apples. Eh.
that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, like, I don't have a super strong preference. Like, I guess I would prefer the Canadian model because it works so well. It's so well loved by Canada. The tax rates between Canadians and United States citizens on average are basically identical. All these things make me like that one more. But if we could push a multi-payer system where some people can keep their private health insurance and some people don't, I don't give a shit as long as we get everybody in this country insured and people don't have to worry about how they're going to pay for their medicine. People don't have to worry about their kids dying because they can't fucking get the medicine. Shit like this, I'm all about it. Like, I'm not going to be super picky and split hairs when it comes to the betterment of our entire country. Like, I give a fuck about this country, and I want to make sure that we do good, and this is a very big step in making sure that we do that. Like, if we want to be the greatest country in the world, it just feels like to me we need to be guaranteeing the same rights that all these other major countries do. Like, I'm sick and tired of them kicking our asses and making us look like fucking retards when it comes to this shit. Like, I want to be cool too, you know?
Well,
I don't want to be second rate when it comes to Canada or the UK. I want USA to be fucking knocking this shit out.
Canada fucking sucks.
Yeah, well,
I don't.
Canadians seem to like their country a lot better on average than Americans do.
You know, Canada fucking sucks. They don't have a First Amendment.
Do you have any examples of people being arrested because they're just talking?
Yeah, if you misgender
So-
in Canada, if you misgender somebody, you can face.
Okay, so this is heavily out of context. I know exactly what you're talking about, and this is just simply not true. It's not like if you accidentally call somebody he by mistake. like you go to jail. This is like if you're aggressively harassing somebody over their pronouns, like then yeah, you can get into some kind of trouble for it. And I'm pretty sure it's a fucking fine. And I don't think there's been any examples of somebody actually getting arrested for this. If you could show me an actual example of somebody getting arrested for mistakenly misgendering somebody, like this would fall under the same category as hate speech in the United States. And the United States do have laws against
Hate
this.
speech is free speech, though.
Okay, but hate speech laws do exist in the United States. So to say that like Canada has hate speech laws is not a comparative model to against the U.S.
Do you mean like calling? Do you mean like saying fire in a movie theater? Like that's a law?
That's not a hate speech. That's not hate speech.
No, I know, but like
we do have hate speech.
What is hate? What is a hate speech law? Like, explain that to me.
Hate speech in the U.S. So.
Hello.
Well, since Jake is back from taking a poop, I'm gonna take my poop now.
I've been back.
Is that okay?
You guys have just been talking.
I know, but I didn't want to dip out like you, Jake, when someone comes in. I was trying to be polite.
I had to take a shit, and then I said I was ready, but I came back.
Yeah, I had to take a shit too, but I still stayed, you son of a bitch.
But you two were in the middle of a damn conversation, so I felt rude just kind of throwing myself in there, so I was just gonna wait. I was just waiting it out.
Am I okay with taking a shit?
Go for it, buddy.
Thank you.
So
I can't. I'm in a Discord call with Hunter Lowenberg. He's teaching me about fascism.
All right, Bilva, I'm gonna disconnect you because it's my turn to talk, and I know you're just gonna talk over me. So, yeah.
So, a really good way to put this would be like, for instance, you can't sexually harass somebody with your words in the United States, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an impediment of the First Amendment. We agree that there are certain protected classes of people that can't be talked to in a certain way by other people because this is seen as a violent act towards them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this was what the attempt was in Canada.
Well, actually, no.
Can
you get arrested? Wait, can you get arrested for sexually harassing somebody?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You can? I've never heard that.
Yeah, you can get sued, and to a certain extent, you can get arrested. Yeah.
Oh.
If you go up to a woman at your job and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck you," as soon as you walk out the door, dog, you get in trouble.
Just defines by the words you say themselves, or doesn't there also have to be an aggressive attitude towards it?
I mean, look, it's going to be purely perceived by the recipient of the harassment, and like this is going to go to court and all that shit. This is neither here nor there. It's just the idea that.
The way I see it is that free speech is hate speech because there is no legal definition of hate speech. So anything can be labeled hate speech, right? There's like anything that can be perceived as harmful to another person could be considered hate speech. So if I said to you,
I misspoke when I said hate speech. I misspoke when I said hate speech. I'm just saying there's certain speech that is considered.
Yeah, there's certain speech you can't do. Like you can't go into a movie theater, yell fire. You can't go into an airport and say bomb. That's because that's public safety. So that I understand.
But there's also like sexual harassment, for instance, or like racial discrimination. You can't say.
Yeah. Well, racial discrimination is not against the law. Believe it or not, it's not against the law. You can call someone.
No, to a degree you can. It is though. Like if you say.
Unless you're gonna say like, I'm gonna kill you, you effing N-word, then that you will get arrested because that's harassment and it's bad. It's actually assault because assault's horrible.
It's against the law to say, "Hey, I want you out of my business. I don't want black people in here." That's against the law.
Well, yeah, because that's a business.
But this is what I'm saying.
Wait, hold on. Is it really against the law? Because
yes.
You're
not allowed to discriminate against race. So this is because we have protected classes in the United States. Canada also has protected classes against people that are like atypical gendered. This is the same thing. And like I said too, there's no examples of any, like, if this law isn't designed to, like, if you accidentally call somebody something, but if you repeatedly, if somebody comes to work and you go, and they're like, "Hey, so you know, I prefer to be referred to as she. I would like to be called Charlotte." And every time they come in, you're like, "Hey, Charlie, what's going on, man?" And you keep on berating them like that and making them feel unsafe, and this is perceived, in a really negative way to where they're not able to perform their job and things like this, then these are the sorts of things this law is there to protect. Canada isn't structuring.
I kind of want to talk about hate speech is on how it's like, do you think that hate speech should be illegal? Do you think that there should be a law against hate speech?
It depends on what we're defining as hate speech.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about hate speech. Hate speech can be deferred. Okay, so the thing about hate speech is any harmful language. So that could be perceived as anything. So there was no legal definition of hate speech, right? There is absolutely no legal definition of hate speech. There is slander, and then there is just you can't go in, you can't call to action. Those are the rules. Those are the laws against like where your First Amendment lies. You can't call to action,
Well,
and you can't purposely say something that can cause injury. For example, you can't go into a movie theater
Well, then there's
yell.
also sexual harassment speech, and there's
Yes,
also like
Yeah,
racial
Jake, I
discrimination
want to
speech
ask.
as well.
Hey, I want to ask, where's the line for you between harassment and speech? Where does that cross over?
Okay, harassment I feel would be the call to action or like repeatedly doing it to make and sort of for someone to be uncomfortable.
Yes,
For
that's
example,
what the Canadian law is.
For example, following somebody, say, for example, following a black person and repeatedly just calling them the N word, being like, "Hey, come over here. Hey, you're not welcome here.
Yeah,
This,
because
that."
you're gonna feel threatened, right?
Harassment. If you're gonna continuously do it, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
what the
think
Canadian law
harassment.
is. That's
Oh,
exactly what the Canadian law is.
Alright.
Yeah, because you'll never find a single example of this law being used on anybody that this isn't the case for. And almost every time it's going to end up being a fine. Yeah, and like, I gotta say too, like, I think that Canada, as the way things sit right now, I think Canada is a significantly better country than the United States, as the way things sit right now.
I completely disagree because I believe that they don't have the first of all they don't have the Second Amendment right. I do believe that is the most important right that we have.
I think the only reason the Second Amendment is super important because our government has a history of being dog shit as fuck and super untrustful and shady, whereas the Canadian government doesn't.
But that doesn't mean shit. Just because we have a history does not mean that they can ever not do it. See, that's the thing is, I think every country should have the Second Amendment right because it will take them from, turning into a China or turning into a Russia.
Then how come Canada hasn't turned into China or Russia?
Because they've gotten lucky. But I'm just saying that's the whole, especially with our government, because I will agree with you that our government is completely untrustworthy, and I don't trust our government. I do like our government, but I do not trust it. If that makes sense.
So that's what I'm saying, though. Canadians have a pretty positive perspective of the government. They have a pretty decent, honest government.
I do not like is that you cannot defend yourself. You can get arrested for defending yourself. Like, for example, if someone breaks into your house and you shoot them with your gun that you are allowed to have, because they do have a Second Amendment right, but is heavily regulated. They can't have certain guns, and I just don't think that's right. And so, or even with a knife, if you protect yourself from a person that is attacking you and they die or get injured, you can be sued or arrested.
Okay, so that can also happen in the United States as well. You can also be sued if somebody comes to your house. There's always going to be a case that can be made that you used excessive force that wasn't necessary. It just depends on your local jurisdiction.
Yeah,
however, Canada does have self-defense laws. You just can't use self-defense against an unprovoked assault, which is pretty much the same as the United States. I don't know where you heard that from. This is just simply not true.
Is that if someone breaks in your house that you can get arrested for attacking them? That happens
in the United States? Yeah, that could totally happen in the United States. There's definitely been cases where people have broken and gotten injured on somebody's property and then sued the homeowner. Absolutely. This has definitely happened because our legal system's totally fucked.
Give me a second.
If your state also doesn't have the chaos.
Oh, right here. Okay, so a Manitoba judge. So right here, and it was in 2019. A Manitoba man jailed after judge says justified self-defense went too far, killing home intruder.
Sure.
See, I don't think that's right.
So I also have a slew of cases here on my Google where it's happened in the United States as well.
Well, then still, again, that is not right.
Sure, but I'm saying that doesn't make us better than them. Is all I'm saying. The fact that they have a thing that we have doesn't make us better than them, right? I'm not arguing whether or not this is right. I'm just saying that this isn't an argument against Canada versus the United States. That's all I'm saying. Like I just want to be really clear. Whenever I make an argument for something, I'm only arguing for what I'm saying. Any extrapolations that might be made, like I'll make if I intend them. But like I just want to be really careful. Like just make sure that when I make an argument, we're not assuming that I mean anything else. I'm super careful with my words. It'll just save us a lot of hassle. Is basically what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But at the same time, too, when I do say something and I do extrapolate, feel free to fucking pin me down on that point, too. Because if I said it, then I meant it. So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, like, Canada's just fucking dope, dude. On my birthday, they legalize weed for the entire country. They have lower crime rates. They have like a better economic prosperity in their country as opposed to the United States. They do pay higher taxes, but they have a higher quality of life. They have tuition-free college. They have
That was
universal
my
health care.
point, is that I just don't like taxes. I think taxation is theft. It's
So
it's one of the only few things I agree with libertarians on.
So I do too. However, I do think that certain amounts of unmoral actions are justified when we're combating greater immoralities.
Well, no, I mean, I do agree that there should be some taxes, but I think that overtaxation is theft, which is what's going on here. I think that even our right, I think we should be, I think like 15% income tax would be understandable.
So this is the thing. By definition, I would have to say that taxation is theft. However, when we make this argument, we could also say that labor is theft too. An argument could be made for that. I'm not a super big fan of that argument, but it is internally consistent with itself. However, taxation can be theft, that's fine, but we can also say that you are agreeing to some form of liberty removal when you enter society in a cooperation with other people in a society. And taxation just happens to be one of the burdens that you have to take on to reap the benefits of living in a productive society.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you. I do believe that taxes are needed, but I believe, like I said, overtaxation. Overtaxation, meaning like being taxed. Like I feel right now we're being taxed too much.
I think in the United States, the average person absolutely is, and the rich we're like running away with this shit, dude.
Oh, no, I do agree. I do. That is one thing I've agreed with the left on, is that they need to be paying taxes. Because if I have to, look, I'm 16 years old and I get taxed on my paycheck. I don't think that's right. I do not think that if I can't vote, I should not be able to be taxed. Because that's taxation about representation. The whole thing the founding fathers fought over.
I just made that claim last night with Cletus about how if felons can't vote, don't fucking tax them then.
Well, I mean, but no, that's different. The different thing about with felons is that they obviously, I do agree with you, maybe non-violent felons, but like violent felons, I think should forfeit their right.
Okay, so the problem with felons not being able to vote is this whole entire thing was set up as a way to stop black people from voting. It's no secret that conservative districts have worked hand over foot to try to suppress the black vote. I mean, it's in their self-interest. It makes sense of why they would do it. It's not even necessarily racist inherently. Wait, hang on. It's not even inherently racist. It's just self-preservation. You want to try to stop people from voting who are going to vote against you. I get that. You don't necessarily have to hate black people to try to stop them from voting if it's going to make you lose your job. I still think it's bad. I still think it's immoral as fuck, but it makes sense.
No, everyone just deserves to vote, but I do believe that like violent felons should not be able to vote. I do believe maybe like if you got arrested for like growing weed, I feel like yes, and that's a felony. I feel like yes, you should get your rights to vote. But
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to require them to do everything of that a citizen's required to do. But in my opinion, too, I think that as a citizen, you have a duty to vote. I would take it one step further. And in some states, like in Michigan, felons can vote too. But I would say that I would require everybody to vote. I think that it is your civic duty to vote, and felons shouldn't be exempt from it because you have to understand. Felons are part of this country too, and they are reflective of our society to a degree, and that needs to have some sort of representation. For instance,
I can only agree so much because again, violent felons don't deserve. If you killed 10 people, you don't deserve any rights.
Well, if you kill 10 people, you're probably not going to be out of jail to vote, right?
Oh, true. Can people vote in jail? Can felons vote in jail?
No.
Out of jail.
So I guess what I'm getting at here is that it just doesn't make sense to say that like you can't do this because for one, this requires an enormous amount of faith in the justice system, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't have that. Like the justice system fails all the time, and so to say that felons can't vote means that I believed in the justice system so much to where I think that their failures should also be able to derail the most foundational, fundamental part of democracy, which is voting. And I just don't have that level of faith in it.
Aren't we? We're a constitutional republic, aren't we?
No, we're supposed to be. We are a representative democracy. We are
Yeah.
not a republic whatsoever.
Yeah, no, we're not.
That shit's long gone. It was a nice
We-
idea, just like real capitalism. It was a nice fucking idea. People think we have it, but we don't.
Yeah, we're not a capitalist nation. We
We're a
definitely are.
corporatocracy.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, like full capitalism, like I never really call myself a capitalist. Like once I started learning more about it, I don't believe that capitalism is the way to go. I believe that like what we have
I'm a
now
staunch
is
capitalist.
yeah, because capitalist is just too much freedom and it's just too much. There's too many risks.
So
Because like a full free market where there's no regulations is so dangerous towards other people. Because like I made this point with Brian, because they want to because Brian and Bilbo want to get rid of like the FDA. And I'm like, no, that's needed because I don't want to take Advil and then and take the chance that my dick might fall off. You know,
No,
like
so
I'd
there's a
rather
difference
have
between
that these are good.
you can have capitalism and still have regulations.
Yeah, but they
What we-
want to deregulate everything. They want, and that's what I don't understand.
So when I'm saying I'm a capitalist, what I believe is that we should have free movement of markets. Markets should not be regulated in any way that's not necessary. However, it becomes necessary in certain areas. We shouldn't let capitalism control everything. Like I said, like I made the strong case for in the healthcare market, the profit motive does not serve the needs of the people. Capitalism is good because it's a very, very elegant system for determining what people need and want and getting it to them as efficiently as possible. However, when it comes to healthcare, it fails horribly at this, which is why the majority of the people can't get it. It works great when it comes to TVs. Everybody has a TV. Poor people have a TV. Rich people have a TV. Everybody got a TV, right? We all got them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to healthcare, not so much. When it comes to housing, it's not bad. It works pretty good, but it kind of sucks still too. So we need to subsidize this with with
The whole
policy.
The whole thing that my literally whole thing about government run healthcare is that if you see everything else the government runs, like the DMV, you've been to the DMV, I'm sure. I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure
We
you've
have
been
Secretary of State.
What?
We have Secretary of State, and actually it's made great strides. We've done what I advocate for like pretty much every government institution. Just get technology involved more, and it kind of kicks ass. When I go to get my plates renewed, they have a kiosk there. I get a sticker, and I'm out. I don't have to wait in line. Instead of waiting in line, I can sign up. Yeah, I can sign up on my phone to like virtually stand in line, and then I can go there at the time that my time will be up, like roughly speaking. And I'm usually in and out in 10 minutes now. Yeah, so...
Yeah, but you know, if you see these like government run things, like the roads, the education system, the like everything that's government run, they're not very good.
I agree.
They're not. So why would we want our healthcare, which is very important, to be government run? And that's another thing is I don't want the government in my life. I want government out of my life. Like that's my whole thing about government run healthcare is that I want the government I want the government as in my life as little as possible, and especially to dictate who I want, especially for them to dictate what healthcare I can get and what I can get, like just to dictate healthcare in general.
So this is the big misconception here. I'm not talking about government run healthcare. I'm talking about government funded healthcare. We don't have to change the structure of the institution at all. We're just paying for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
But that's also up to the government how much funding they get. So if they cut the funding of healthcare, we're gonna have shitty healthcare. And again, like we've said, our government
we can demand to have X amount of funds into it. You know what I mean? Our government run healthcare, like Medicaid, works pretty fucking good. This is one of the few things they've done really good. Like I can probably count on one hand. I'm not like super opposed to what you're saying here. I can count on like one hand the really good things the government has done. We got Social Security, totally kicks ass, does what it's supposed to. Medicaid, totally kicks ass, does what it's supposed to. Cash for clunkers, amazing government program. Did what it was supposed to, knocked it right out of the fucking park. There's not a lot of good ones, but these things that we can see that are good, like we should expand upon. Like Medicaid, let's get everybody on this shit. It works so fucking well, and it's not like when I take my Medicaid card to the doctor, like the other guy was saying, he doesn't have to go and talk to talk to a senator to get a raise. That's not how it works, right? It's just government funded, not government ran. And like the big fear that comes up with.
I get government funding, but then again, that just goes into the tax thing, and I just don't want to pay unnecessarily amount of taxes.
But you were here for when I broke down like the actual tax rates, right? And like how we're saving money overall, and like how all these other countries that have it don't have like any like significant tax increase, and in some cases the majority of the people pay less than us.
No, I was not there.
Okay, so yeah, I've actually broken down. In Canada, Canadians pay on average the same amount on average that Americans pay. Some people with higher income brackets pay more, some people pay less. But I mean, we would expect this regardless of what they had because like nothing's going to be identical. But that's the thing. The fact that we don't have a unified front means we're going to pay more for everything. And we do. We pay the most for prescription drugs of any country in the entire world. We have the most uninsured people of any like first world country. This shit just doesn't make sense. We have a better way, and it might cost it might cost some more in taxes. But everybody who's already paying for health insurance, the people that are going to be paying more are the people who are already paying for health insurance anyways. They're paying less overall. So like,
I mean, like what I did like about like what Donald Trump has done, he did actually lower healthcare prices. Did you know that? He lowered healthcare
are you
prices.
talking about
like,
the more recent executive order that happened like last month?
I think so. I don't
Okay,
know.
so he didn't actually do that. And I said when this happened, I said
Yeah.
if he does do this, this is going to be the best thing that he's ever done as president. However, he's pretty sneaky. He left a clause in there that says if they come and meet with him, he can take it back. Like he basically left it wide open for him to not do anything on. So this executive order, it can very well just end up being like a publicity stunt that amounts to no significant change.
Well, that's,
I was
you said possibly.
yeah, but I'm saying he left himself a way out, and as it
Yeah.
stands right now, nothing has changed.
Well, that's not true because I mean I've seen that the healthcare prices have gone down. Like my mom was recently uninsured of like healthcare, and now it since that bill has been ordered, it's dropped down and she was able to afford it.
No, it actually doesn't directly impact healthcare prices. This is just the prices of specific drugs.
Oh well, that's but yeah, because isn't like insulin down at like $30 right now?
Hang on,
Isn't
let
that
me see.
like the price too? I don't know the exact number, but
Yeah, so basically, we're still in the realm of it's too soon to tell because nothing has actually taken effect yet.
well, yeah, I mean it's been a month, so this is kind of one of those things you have to monitor.
It's been past the time to where he said they had, but nothing has been implemented. So like I said, the executive order that he wrote doesn't actually promise anything to happen. It's literally nothing more. It's literally nothing more than a campaign promise, like with an executive order like border around it. So I really like the idea, but I can't give him any credit for something that he hasn't done.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, like, you know,
if it's anything like the wall,
well, the wall's coming. Well, you understand? It took him almost like 2 years to get even funding for the wall.
okay, if we want to go down the wall has been nothing short of a disaster every step along the way. Even what's being put up, we've only put up border wall in 5 miles where it hasn't existed before, and in the areas where we have put it up where it didn't exist before, it doesn't make any sense to. They're already over natural barriers. The parts where we've erected the wall, we've given it to a terrible company that's committed tax fraud. The old CEO got arrested for child pornography. The wall is coming up. Everything about the wall has been an unmitigated disaster.
That's the thing about it is that I was pro wall for a while, but just seeing this now and all the things that's happening, I'm like, dude, it's just gonna take forever. It's not. By the time he's done, if he wins re-election, by the time he's out, it probably won't even be done.
But also, too, the majority of illegal immigrants come through our legal checkpoints. They just get past border security. Like everything about the wall just didn't make sense. Mexico didn't pay for it. So that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to
the whole thing I think about was the whole Mexico thing. Is what I kind of like blamed it on was he never really knew how politics. He wasn't in politics before, so I think he thought he could do that, and then he'd be in there, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know what you said that you can make them pay for it. You can't do that." And then he's like, "Oh,
but that's what I'm saying. He just says a lot of stuff that like he doesn't really go for. So I can't give any credibility to things that haven't happened.
He's done some great things. I mean, I like Donald Trump.
I don't.
Obviously. You don't like what don't you like about him?
I don't like his rhetoric has caused demonstrable harm to us internally and internationally.
What do you mean? Like his rhetoric? What do you mean? Because like the things.
Yeah, the things that he says has caused demonstrable harm.
Like what? Like, well, what has caused demonstrable harm?
So just like countless things that he said on on Twitter, things that he said in public.
Oh, I do. His Twitter page should be. Someone should change the password. Someone should
So
change the password to Twitter.
So, like a really good example of demonstrable harm he's caused internally is reaping doubt in medical professionals during this coronavirus pandemic. This has been so bad to where we're at the point that when we finally get a vaccine, that people are so untrusting now of experts that we're not even going to see. We're not going to get enough people to take the vaccine for it to be effective. It's just scary as fuck. Like,
you don't understand that he constantly called out WHO because they were giving information and then revealing like for example, they said, "Oh no, masks, don't wear your masks." Then don't wear your masks. Save them for medical professionals. Then once everyone already had corona, yeah, wear your mask, guys. And then it's like, well, it's already.
So.
And then they said when he wanted to close the border, they said not to. Like he wanted to close the border for China. Like he wanted to cut them off, but then WHO was like, no. Keep going with your trades. Keep going.
You're making arguments as though new information shouldn't change your approach.
Well,
This isn't lying. This is new information. This is a completely. No, it's not unreliable. So look, dude, with science goes like this. We do things that we think makes the most sense with the information given. We find out new information, and sometimes we have to backtrack completely. That's how this works. This has never happened before. So these are the people who knew the most, they knew the best, and that's what they were doing. Like this was all in good faith. They weren't like trying to fuck anybody over. This is just what we had at the time. And it doesn't make any sense at all to say this guy who has no medical background whatsoever is going to have a better impression over how to handle this than the people that do. And in fact, it's super responsible for them to say, hey, we were wrong, you need to do this. If anything, that shows their integrity so strong that they don't care about saving face, they're caring about saving lives. Right? Who basically said, I'm wrong, I was wrong. Please do this. We want to save lives here. But then when Trump did things wrong with the coronavirus pandemic, he said, I take no responsibility whatsoever.
Well, but I mean, he tried to ban flights from China, was told not to, got ridiculed by the media, and got called a racist by Joe Biden. And I don't understand. But
during that timeline, it wasn't deemed necessary. We didn't have any reason to think this, and then it did, and that was good. And then he did nothing for a month and a half.
And if a pandemic starts in another country, wouldn't you want to cut off so that it does not get to your country? If you cut off the way of people getting there, and the way of the two ways of people getting there, travel and trade. If you cut that off, then that limits your chance of getting the actual virus. So that's what he was trying to do. He was like, all right, well, I don't want this coming here because I don't want it to be a problem.
I'm not saying that when he cut off travel, it was a bad thing. This was good. And then he did nothing for a month and a half while it started to spread across our country. This is super bad.
Well, he also left it up to the professionals for a while, but then again, WHO kept screwing us over and just changing their mind.
Screw us over by offering us tests before we month and a half before we had any testing whatsoever.
I mean, I don't know.
Trump denied tests. We could have had access to tests much sooner, which, as every other country has shown, is key to stopping it from getting out of control. And he denied those tests.
I do agree that he could have done things better, but I do believe also that he tried to do if they would have just let him ban flights from China, I'm sure this would have been gone by now.
He did do it. He did.
Then he repealed it because of all the outcry.
First of all, you can't say that. Trump has never ever backed down from any stance he's ever taken because of people saying stuff about it.
That's what I don't understand with this whole thing is why did he repeal it? If it was because of, I don't think it was media outcry, but he repealed it for some reason I do not understand.
No, it wasn't repealed.
Or no, he went back on it or something.
No, he didn't. That happened. That was the good thing that he did. That was the first thing that he did to curb the coronavirus, and that was the best thing that he did. But then after that happened, he did absolutely nothing for a month and a half. He also dismantled the pandemic response team that Obama had in place, and then and then he blamed Obama, saying that there was no task force in place.
He made it.
It wasn't though. There wasn't an organized, structured team ready to take this on at all. We had one that was ready, and this was later admitted by Mitch McConnell, because the evidence was so piled on them that they couldn't deny it any longer. If McConnell says, "Hey, we fucked up," do you know how hard it is to get that guy to fucking say anything was done wrong about anything that he could be tied to?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do agree that.
I actually like him less than Trump, but I respect that at least. I think Mitch McConnell's the fucking devil.
Oh, that's a little much.
Dude.
Oh. Do you like Obama?
I did for the first 2 years.
All right. Well, do you not like him anymore? You know what he's done.
National Defense Authorization Act dismisses any possibility of me ever saying you were a good president.
The Iran nuclear deal also, funding our enemy. That was pretty shitty too. And the bombing.
The United States has always done it. The United States has always done it. The bombing of Libya was super bad.
I'm not saying that it was just him. I don't like George Bush. Hate the guy. Can't stand him. Burn in hell.
Yeah, I don't like Obama. I liked Gaddafi actually. I thought Gaddafi was a pretty cool dude. He did really good by his country. We didn't like that.
Shit, when they ran, I don't even know who that is.
Gaddafi was the leader in Libya that we executed under Obama.
Oh.
They were one of the last holdouts from having a central bank. They didn't have a central bank. We didn't like it. They decided to sell oil. They used their profits from oil to better the lives of their community. This guy who was painted as a tyrant used to sit up through the window of his limo, and people would run up just to touch his fucking hand. He was considered a champion of his people, and we assassinated him. So no, I don't vouch for Obama. Like you said, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just realistic. No, I'm a sock dom. But sock dems are far divided from like what mainstream Democrats are.
Well, that's respectable. As long as you're not a liberal.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking liberal. I don't think that a government should be able to tell me what to do with my life. I mean, like I don't see how I couldn't possibly be not be liberal. Like I'm a fucking like if you knew my life, I'm fucking like I basically do anything I can to help anybody out that I can. I'm fucking polyamorous. I don't know. I very much fit the bill of a fucking liberal person. I have a general strong desire to make the world a better place, to help out other people. Very, very, very liberal. But liberal, I'm not a liberal, I would say. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it just depends on how we're defining our terms, right?
I mean, when I say liberal, I classify as like a far left authoritarian person.
No, I don't like communists. Like I think that they're pretty fucking stupid. I don't think that they understand what they're talking about.
When you say social dem, I took that as a socialist Democrat, like a democratic socialist.
Democratic socialist and socialist Democrat are two different things.
Yeah,
social Democrat. Yeah.
That's why I said cringe, because I thought you liked socialism.
So everybody likes socialism to a degree. Socialism is just paying money for things that benefit everybody, like police programs, socialist program, Social Security, socialist program. Like we all love socialism. We all like taxes as long as it's going to the things that we like. Like we're conservatives, they spend even more money than Democrats do. They just spend it on fucking military budgets and tax cuts for the rich. So you know what I'm saying? Like the tax cuts for the rich still end up getting paid for by people that make less money. We have to increase taxes. So like, let's be clear. Like when we talk about socialism, everybody loves socialism. We just don't like it being used for things we don't like. If we're going off of what the definition of actually socialism is.
Well, I can tell you I don't like communism.
Yeah, I'm not over here vying for communism. I think that co-ops are super fucking stupid, and I argue against anybody who talks about co-ops all the time.
People always say that like communism is like is the abolishment of state, and
it's just never happened.
That's not true, because if you look up the definition
and leaving it up to a completely free market.
Okay, so I'm a staunch capitalist. However, I acknowledge that there are certain areas in which the markets fail to address the needs of society. So we need policy in place to address these areas. Like there's just certain areas that like profit motive doesn't benefit society. Like when it comes to healthcare, and when it comes to housing to a lesser degree, significantly lesser degree. But housing is like markets do okay when it comes to housing, but I definitely think we need some kind of policy and some kind of like subsidization to make sure that like things don't get out of control and we don't have like rampant homeless people.
All right, so here's the thing with the ability to instill an anarcho-capitalist society. In order to establish an anarcho-capitalist society, you need to have common morality between the people. And I think common morality between the people will cause the market to take care of its own. You understand what I mean by that, right?
Okay, so just real quick, I have to take issue with like one thing, and you can maybe like resolve how I feel about this real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Shoot, bro, shoot.
that's impossible to have a
It's
common morality among people.
so that's why it's considered philosophy and
Sure,
political theory.
but now I
That's
also
why.
think I know why he wanted us to talk. 'Cause I
Yeah, yeah.
suggested to him
I
that there
understand.
was a way that I do think that there's a way that we could get rid of. So like basically, he said like he was talking about communism, and I'm very much not a communist. I think that most communists are super fucking stupid as shit. They
Staunch
know.
capitalists are nowhere close to
So,
communists or
so
whatever. He's just
I,
economically illiterate.
ideologically, I think that communism is fantastic. It's the only problem is that we're
Ideologically,
humans.
yes.
The only problem is we're
Mhm.
humans, and the system wouldn't work. So the best way that we could have a system that would be similar to that, like we could, I think that there is an achievable, even without the moral thing that you're talking about. I think
Yeah.
that we could have a better, different economic system. It'd just be really hard to implement. It would be a
Yeah.
resource-based economy. Are you familiar with this term?
No, can you define it for me?
A resource-based economy gets money completely out of the equation. Essentially, it would take account of all the resources we have, how they can best be applied. It also gets rid of personal ownership completely. So the idea here would be that we
So,
would structure our societies completely different. We would have it in a way. So, like say for example, like nobody needs a car all the time, right?
yeah.
Um,
So
it-
it's just for basically provided.
Yeah, so like essentially like if I needed to use a car, I would just go and type on my computer like, "Hey, I need a car," and then the car would be outside of my house. And this is just assuming like maybe if we had like 10 years of advanced
Yeah.
technology, this would be like super duper easy to implement because we just have drones bring it.
It
Hey,
would
I
be
need a
super
video
easy to
camera. Drone
implement.
drops off a video camera. When I'm done with it, I put it on my porch. Drone comes and picks it up, takes the next person that needs it. You know,
So
these
the
sorts of
only
things.
problem that would need is you would need to have the ability to instill common morals because people could steal the resources provided.
The amount of people that would steal so crime is almost always a result of people not having their needs met.
Yes.
So we wouldn't get a lot of theft. There would be no real reason to have theft, you know?
Yeah, there
wouldn't be a-
would be no real reason, but due to I think this is just basic human nature between all humans is the ability to like want to have more, to have everything. So
Sure,
if
this would
people, if
happen at a
people
very
could
small scale.
understand the fact that we wouldn't need everything, crime would still be there. No matter where you are, crime will
Sure.
be there regardless of what it is. But I agree that a resource-based economy is actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think that it's literally like the perfect utopia system. But I mean, I don't think it's something we could do tomorrow
Definitely.
or anything like that. But it's just
Mhm.
something that like would be the best system to do. It's just unrealistic with what we have. Just like I don't necessarily agree
Definitely.
with libertarians a lot as far as their philosophy goes. However, it is completely implausible because we are way too far gone towards down the corporatocracy hole for any of these ideas to actually
Definitely.
pan out in reality.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, even it's extremely hard for a libertarian party to win in the United States due to the fact that it's mostly Republican, Democrat that are actually well known to the common public.
Yeah, I'm like last year. I used to be a libertarian. I'm not anymore. But last
Yeah.
election, I actually voted Gary Johnson.
You
Not this
did?
time. I'm going hardcore Biden this time. I'm
Oh,
definitely riding
definitely.
with Biden on this one. But so my big divide is that libertarians are for the most part completely fucking retarded. They are just completely impossible to have a conversation with about anything because if you say,
Definitely
"Hey, we
do.
should do this," they go, "Yeah, but you can't tax it," and they completely ignoring the facts that taxes exist. So
Yeah,
they're just not
completely ignoring
rooted
the
in
fact that
reality.
taxes exist. So I believe taxation is theft, and I believe if everything is privately owned, it will be somewhat of easy to completely abolish taxes in general.
So,
If everything was privatized, like
so the
in
problem is we wouldn't need
Yeah.
taxes if everybody was brainwashed to take care of each other, but that's not how it works. This idea
yeah,
isn't
it's
rooted in
technically not how it
reality.
works. It isn't rooted in reality, but still, technically, if we're talking philosophy, it would be somewhat of a good idea.
Sure. So like in a perfect world scenario, this sort of thing might be able to work. I guess to me it's a little bit more interesting to talk about like pragmatic things that we could actually implement. Like which isn't to say like I love talking
Yeah.
about moral philosophy. I just think that it moral philosophy needs to know where it's allowed to enter when we're discussing politics.
Exactly. Yes. So that's what
Woo!
I don't agree with. Is
I just want an
most
all-in
like
bet.
if you're if you're talking to like in most ANCAPs or most ANCOMs or most radically political people that are like economically politically literate, they read a lot. Usually, you'll say one thing, you'll provide a point, and then like they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're wrong!" Like, dude, you can't even say that. I'm like, the whole point of politics is to have a civilized conversation for the betterment of everybody.
Yeah,
It's like the
that's
ability to
my
select. It's the
that's my
ability to
definition of a
make the best
debate.
decision. That's the definition of a debate. But
In my
usually,
opinion, yeah. That's
a
my
debate is used to sway the watchers. Not usually, because people that debate typically at the end of the day don't really concede 100% and become a full believer.
No, see, so my for me, a debate, the purpose of a debate is to further the intellectual progress of all parties involved.
Yes.
I don't have to bring you over, but if I plant some seeds that'll grow over time to help you come to the realization, that's
Exactly.
fine with me too. I don't expect you to change your mind tonight.
Yeah.
But maybe after the course of 3 or 4 conversations, and then you like doing your own reading, like maybe one of my points stuck, and then you read something that you would normally believe and go like, actually, that doesn't actually make sense, because like that,
Yeah.
I guess like you'll start to see some of the fallacies and the things that you believe in, like over time.
Mhm.
This is how real progress is made. It usually doesn't
Yeah.
happen overnight. However, once in a while, I had an ex-girlfriend. I showed her one of my favorite movies of all time, Zeitgeist. And one
Yeah.
of the most innocuous parts of it mentioned that churches don't pay tax. Sort of offhandedly, she
Yeah.
goes, "Wait, churches don't pay taxes?" And I was like,
Nope.
"No." And she was a Christian. She goes, "Oh, it's just a big fucking scam, huh?" And she wasn't a Christian anymore. That was one of the most radical changes I've ever seen in somebody. I used to call that movie the atheist holy grail because it was the most powerful tool for getting people off of organized religion I've ever seen. And that wasn't even the part of it that did it for most people. It was usually like all the like the breaking down of like where the core like ideas of this actually came from and how it wasn't original, all that. But that this is neither here nor there. I know I kind of got off topic there, but I'm just saying
I
like
understand.
this is just how information usually works and how it goes about swaying people. It's funny too because I really thought
Definitely.
that Jake and I would have a lot more headbutting, but he actually conceded an overwhelming amount of points when we were talking. So he's actually seemed
Yeah,
a lot
he
more
did.
reasonable than he was made out to be. Is this normal for him? Is he usually this reasonable?
Jake. So, I mean, Jake's deafened right now, so I can go off on him. Jake is economically and politically illiterate to the point to where it would be somewhat easy to sway him onto any side as long as you provide enough points and you make him concede. That's probably going to be the easiest thing to do, especially on Jake.
I gotcha. I was just curious because it seemed like it just from how everybody talked about Jake, because they talk about him a lot here. It just seemed like he was a lot more like aggressive and like firm-footed on stuff than he actually was. I actually found him to be like rather reasonable. I didn't like a lot of the points that he made, but he actually came around pretty well when I gave him when I illustrated my point, and it didn't have any logical inconsistencies in it. He admitted that like that was a good point, and that was actually really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely easier for everyone if you're going into a debate to remain open-minded. That's one of the things that I don't like about most people that debate. They think the entire point is to win.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, stacking up a debate record is great. I've done it. Like, I go on Omegle, I'll record down all the wins, all the key points that I made, research them later to strengthen the key points. But in the end, a debate is to get to an ends to where both parties can somewhat agree.
Move
on
closer
it.
towards each other's points, yeah.
Yes.
So me,
or,
I always want to have like an intellectual conversation where we're challenging each other's points. However, when somebody's like a super big asshole, that's like the only time I'm really interested in dunking on somebody. It always feels really satisfying to dunk on a fucking piece of shit.
It does. See, that's the quote of the year. It always feels better to dunk on a fucking piece of shit.
It
But-
does though, man.
And I mean, I have a debate on the 10th with this guy named Braden. If you know him, are you on political TikTok?
Oh, it's so
are
funny.
You...
You say Braden? Let me see. Is that
Braden.
one of? Is it
David
Brandon
Ricardo,
P?
Actually, wait, no, it's Braden, but it's that socialist guy. That man will never concede, and it's over Marx's labor theory of value.
Oh man, I really don't like. I mean, I don't mind talking to Marxists, but they're just usually really fucking stupid.
I mean, it's either they're stupid, they don't concede, or they're literal. They think Marxism is a religion.
Well, like the problem is too, like, so like, you ever talk to a Marxist about co-ops?
I have not yet.
So they literally always describe a regular workplace with unions with extra fucking steps that don't make any fucking sense to have in there to begin with.
Exactly.
Like, why don't we just have what we already have and implement policy to fix the problem?
Exactly. That's and they just they just want to make extra steps to make it seem like they're smart or something. I'm
Like,
like,
there's-
just make it as simple as possible so the people watching can even understand. Because sometimes I'll go on a spiel using vocabulary that not everybody understands, and it's hard for everyone watching to understand.
So I'm a big advocate of like any problem that can be approached pragmatically in this country can be fixed with policy.
Yes.
And if you try to attach anything other than policy to it, I think that you're a fucking moron. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's not a nice thing to say, but like I can't lie. Like I just genuinely think that you're stupid because like policy is the only thing that changes anything. What are we gonna do? Start a revolution over something that can be changed with the signing of a fucking bill? Get the fuck out of here. Just sign the fucking bill.
I mean, how we're like, so I've seen a bunch of Marxists and communists are like, oh yeah, we're gonna start a revolution. I'm like, that's gonna end in a bunch of unnecessary deaths, a bunch of unnecessary damage, when we can literally just vote
Yeah,
or sign a policy or sign a bill for a communist party.
I've debated people that are like literally vanguard partyists.
Jeez.
Yeah. And they also really love their fucking co-ops and shit too.
I didn't even know anarcho-frontierism existed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either. It sounds really
Anarcho.
cringe. And
So
kind of cringe.
I mean, it's so stupid. It's freaking based on mutualism and transhumanism sustained through the frontier. It's like anarchist, but you just keep discovering. I mean, if we do eventually get space travel, I mean, you could have anarcho-frontierism, but it's just so stupid.
Is this just an unnecessary term to describe like literal manifest destiny?
It's literally a political ideology based on manifest destiny with no government involvement. It's literally
So it's Star Trek. It's Star Trek.
It's literally the Wild West.
It's Star Trek.
Yeah, it's basically Star Trek.
That's like the whole purpose of Star Trek, right? They're just like these fleets of like the Galactic Union or whatever. It's just like a collection of people, but there's no real governing bodies.
Yeah, and it's literally they just keep discovering and discovering and discovering. I'm just like, well, you're not solving. You don't have any solutions.
I actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, like, you don't really have any real solutions to
Yeah.
any sort of problem. It's basically you and a couple of buddies that maybe you trust, maybe you don't, maybe could literally kill you with you not even knowing. But it's just so dumb to think about how you just keep going and going.
I do actually take issue with your so you said like we need people all to be on the same like moral system. I think that this is bad. I think this impedes moral and philosophical growth. Like for instance, like I'm very much against that. Like I have a lot of like out of the norm like life choices and like my lifestyle. Like for instance, like I'm a white man and I'm straight and I'm polyamorous, but I'm also like a feminist and I'm also like a super pro, like a super anti-racist, like all these things that don't meet like any of my own criteria. It seems like if we were all to be on some sort of like same kind of track, like it just doesn't seem like we couldn't develop and grow anymore. Like it just seems like you're advocating for a road of like stagnation that I just don't think is pragmatic in any way. Morally speaking, obviously functionally as well, but like morally speaking.
But if we're talking like morality, that's where like the libertarian side of anarcho-capitalists come through. Basically, if it's just not an infringement on your rights, you don't have to worry about it, and it's a common moral distributed between the Libertarian Party. Like, do what you want, but just don't infringe on somebody else's rights. I guess that's where "Don't Tread on Me" came from. I mean, I hope that's where "Don't Tread on Me" came from, or else I sound dumb as hell. But
I mean, don't tread on me meant like no foreign bodies can tell us how to regulate ourselves.
yeah, I mean, the Gads didn't. I'm dumb as fuck right now. But jeez, is it all like 7th grade social studies just came back to me right now? Oh, Jesus fuck. I'm so sorry for sounding so stupid. Goddamn.
No, you're good. Although I gotta say too, I do want to get involved with these like this Republican TikTok sphere because Ziller got some fucking good debates and shit. And I didn't get fucking good debates with anybody. Like I had a PhD doctor on my stream, and we
Wait,
did
you
all right.
did?
Yeah,
Wait, so guess how old I am. I want you to guess.
16.
I'm 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
And like my parents like were like, dude, why are you so interested? Like go play video games or something. And I'm just like,
Why
no.
can't you do both? I'm only playing poker right now, but you gonna guess how old I am, buddy?
22.
Oh, thanks a lot, buddy. No, I'll be 32 in October.
Ew, you're
I'm-
32 in October?
Yeah, I'm young at heart.
Man, I thought you were 20. Jeez.
I mean, if it helps, my wife's 24.
Alright.
So
But, I mean-
I stay young.
I mean, if you ever do want to set up like a formal debate over topics, or if you just generally want to have like a recorded conversation, I do have a podcast that I think yeah, I'm Political Shovel. But I do have a podcast that only one person watches.
I only
but
have one
if
viewer
you
on
d-
my stream right now, but sometimes it hits the double digits.
But like, if you do want to come into my podcast, we'll record it. It'll be published on Spotify. I just have to get your consent in it. And then you
Yeah, absolutely, buddy.
just join the website. I'll send you an invite link, and then we can just record a basic conversation. Or if you want to have a formal debate, we just record it and post it onto
Yeah, I'm down for all
Spotify.
that as long as you don't mind that I also like stream it while we're doing it.
Oh, I have no problem with you streaming any conversations.
Yeah, for sure, buddy. Like I really don't care about like what people's ages that I talk to are.
Yeah.
As long as you're coming at me with like cohesion. I don't.
Mhm.
Ironically, I was in a page for a long time called The Intellectualist, and I just meet a lot of really dumb fucking people in there. It's really hard to have a
definitely.
conversation with.
Mhm. And I mean, I'm generally more like interested in economic and political philosophy. I can have a just general conversation on stuff that we could actually sign a bill or politicize with, and I will do more research on those if you ever do want to have a conversation about those. But I'm more into economic and political philosophy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm all about that shit too.
All right. So
It's like,
it was good.
Economics, politics, philosophy, morality, and religion are like my strong points. Also
Yeah.
physics, but it's really hard to find a conversation about physics.
Oh, I have no clue about physics. I'm in biology 1, and I have to take chemistry, then physics. But I'm nowhere close to anything physics yet.
I'm trying to date a chick who's a chemist, so I'm learning a little bit
Dang.
about chemistry.
I mean, chemistry is
talking?
actually extremely interesting, but I mean, my parents are trying to get me to become like a foreign exchange student and study economics somewhere in the UK like next year. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I have my computer, I have my microphone, I have other people to talk to. I don't need to get a private education at a school with only 500 students.
Right? Are you? I mean, that's not that small of a school. I mean, I guess compared to where I am now, I used to live in like buttfuck nowhere, but now I live like incredibly close to Detroit. So I guess that would be a small school compared to where I'm at now.
Yeah, but there's, I think, 50,000 people that apply a year. And I
I
have
thought
to
you were gonna
take
say at
a...
your school.
Oh, no, but...
It's like holy shit.
But, I mean, I already got into a private school, like this year on economics, but then they want me to go to a foreign exchange school. I think there's 2,000 kids at my school, and there were 12,000 that applied.
Mhm.
And I just transferred during the middle of the year because it took a long time. So I had to take a prerequisite course at my school, and then I had to switch. So it was great. But I mean, studying economics overseas, I want to go back to public school so bad. Private school is
Yes.
just a whole stressful thing within itself. But I mean,
Holy
dang,
fuck.
I got way off topic.
Sorry for all the holy fuck shit. I'm also playing poker and I just fucking wrecked somebody.
Dang, man, I respect the grind on poker though.
Yeah, if I win this event, I get into an event that's worth 300,000. So be
Is
grinding.
this real money?
Oh
He's
yeah,
grinding.
absolutely. You can't
Oh,
play
shit.
poker for not real money. There's no fucking point. There's no fear of
Yeah.
loss, so the dynamics are all gone.
Uh huh. Cletus, you've been awfully quiet over there.
He's a lurker.
Just listed.
It's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with lurking, buddy.
Yep.
But you could also lurk on my stream and up that view count too.
I bet. What are you streaming on?
Twitch, twitch.tv/elderdrazi.
All right, bet. I'm just gonna Elder Drazi. I'm just gonna.
You can give me a free follow if you'd like to.
Elder Drazi, sir.
Won't cost you a penny. And in fact, it's funny too because none of my subs cost them a penny either. Everybody who's subbed to me is subbed with a fucking Prime.
Elder Drazi.
Remember when doing
Oh, let's
chemistry,
go.
acid
Oh, it's
before water?
debating righties.
That was the
You do have-
plan.
You do have ads though. I just got a Best
yeah,
Buy ad.
I'm an affiliate.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I have almost 100 followers, and I've had 1,356 separate views. So, like, I'm not the worst. I'm just not great.
Mhm.
Working on it.
Oh,
Oh, you're breaking up real bad, bud.
I know my internet is actually terrible where I live.
Are you Reno?
Yeah, I'm Reno.
Okay. Yeah, so
Well, I
let's,
do have.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I do have school tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna hop out of here at like 9.
Oh, what? It's 9:41 where I'm at. I don't know
Oh,
what that
it's 8.
translates to.
It's 8:41 where I'm at, so you're on Eastern
Okay.
time, right?
Yeah. He's at
Yeah, I'm
Detroit.
in Central. Oh, all right.
do you
I'm
go
from-
into school?
Yeah. Do you
Me?
actually go to a physical
Yeah, do you
school
go
right
into
now?
School?
Yeah.
Oh,
that sucks.
fuck.
Fuck,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm doing online. There's already been like 4 or 5 cases in my school just the first like 2 weeks.
Dude, you're a year older than my daughter. And I was like, I told her mom, was like, absolutely, she's not going into a real school. She can do computer shit. My kid has asthma. Ain't no fucking way, dude.
Yeah, my mom's diabetic, but I think that's the thing is my mom was just like, dude, get your education, just go, because they don't offer online courses there. So it was like I either got my education or I just didn't go.
Oh, hopefully you don't kill your mom, bro.
Hopefully I don't.
Diabetes is one of the worst risk factors you can possibly have for COVID.
Yeah, so I'm like extremely weary, like extremely. Like,
I am too. I haven't left
clean.
my house in any meaningful way since March 12th. On March 12th, I told my boss, I was like, hey, man, I'll see you when this is over. And he's like, okay, my job's still there. It's still waiting for me. I can go back anytime. My wife doesn't go to work. None of my roommates work. In September, my mom's house exploded. And yeah, it killed my grandma. It left my mom homeless, so she moved in. She has emphysema and COPD, and she's over 50, so nobody's trying to kill her, so we're not leaving the
Yeah.
house.
Mhm.
And like Detroit, I don't know if you followed like the COVID news at all. Detroit was hit so fucking hard in June. If you counted the county I live in as a country, we would have been 36th in the world for COVID.
Mhm.
So like,
Jeez.
yeah. And then my my city that I live in, for non-Detroit, Wayne County, which is the county I live in, it had the highest increase, which was 10%, in the last week. So we just don't fucking go nowhere. Like my roommate and I, we go outside and we do fucking kendo, and otherwise we just fucking like watch fucking anime and fucking chill on our computers.
Hell yeah, dude. Sounds like the life.
Shit, I went
It's
to North
not.
Carolina
It's
during like
not
this
bad.
spike of the coronavirus.
The worst part about this is probably like it's taken a huge like it's really hampered my dating life. That's pretty much been the worst part about it.
Yeah.
Like you can't go out and
But-
meet people at all.
I mean, that's what Tinder was created for. Am I
I do
right?
Tinder. I do Tinder. That's how I met the
You
chemist.
do?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's actually cool too because she gets she's actually making coronavirus test kits, so she
Mhm.
gets tested daily because you can't be working on test kits if you have coronavirus. So that's actually somebody maybe I could actually meet. Because it sucks too because I can meet somebody on Tinder but then like not be able to meet them because they go places.
Yeah. But she has mandatory testing, so you'll know if she has it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's actually a really good thing, I guess. She's a chemist.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, like especially dude, when we were getting the extra unemployment, extra $600 a fucking month, I fucking souped up my computer. I basically rebuilt the whole thing. I have a $3,000 computer now, with a fucking, like, Cosmos 5 Elite, fucking VR headset and shit. I got like a professional microphone, all this shit. Like I'm fucking, not gonna lie, I'm fucking living it up.
So I currently have my phone in a cup with something in it, so the phone positions upwards, and then my school computer out in front of me, and then my phone plugged in to my computer, so it charges. I mean, it
Ew,
still
don't
works.
charge your phone that way.
I mean, yeah, my computer's plugged into my phone. I mean, it still works, but it barely does.
Yeah, I would not recommend, as an IT professional, I would not ever recommend charging your phone on your computer.
Is there any like weird things that happens to the battery? Does the battery health get affected?
No, it's just the most ass way to do it. Like almost every phone nowadays. Do you have USB-C?
No clue what a USB-C is, but it's a regular iPhone, and the iPhone charger plugs into the computer. So.
Can't you like charge your phone in like a half hour?
Yeah, but my nearest outlet is 20 feet away from me.
Are you discording
wow.
from your phone?
Yes.
Oh, wow, you have really good clarity, which is amazing because like I give no credibility to iPhones for anything whatsoever. But to be fair, that's
Yeah.
only because I know a lot about technology, phones, and computers.
I mean, in general, most people would be like, "Oh yeah, Apple, yay!" But the more you get to know about stuff, the more you realize how terrible everything is.
All you need to understand is the hardware and the features, and you'll realize that they're 2 years behind on Samsung's flagship phones across the board. They're just fucking terrible. They have fantastic marketing.
They have fantastic marketing. Like it's hilarious how good the marketing is.
Even their computers have the exact same components, and they just charge more. And people are like, well, I like the Mac OS. Like, I'll put Mac OS on your Dell. Stop buying this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because it's Apple and some of them, like, and it's just a general, like, appeal to democracy, I guess, that iPhones are better than Androids or any Google phone.
Apple's
most people
success
generally
is a
say,
monument to American stupid fuck consumerism.
Yep.
It makes no fucking sense whatsoever unless you understand that Americans are the dumbest fucking consumers on the planet and they will buy anything that you tell them to buy enough.
So eventually in America, all I have to do is say, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. And if you just do it enough times,
Yeah,
or
well,
if you have more wealth influence, it'll eventually work out.
well, I should say, I guess I'm underplaying it a bit. Apple does have one legitimate thing to their credibility is they accrued a lot of brand loyalty by being the first ones on the market with the smartphone. So they got a lot of people. That was the first one they learned. That's what they're comfortable with, and I get that. I do. I don't argue with people when they say like, "Well, I'm just comfortable with this." I have no counter argument to that. But as soon as somebody tries to tell me that their iPhone is better than my Galaxy S10 5G, about to fucking bitch slap them with the facts.
Yep.
Like you can tell me that you like your Apple because you're comfortable with it and you don't want to learn something new. That's fine, but don't fucking try to say that it's good.
Yeah, don't say iPhones are good, man. They really aren't.
I get super triggered on iPhones are good. iPhones are better than Samsungs and people that try to make the claim that the Xbox One is even like okay.
I have an Xbox One,
Sorry.
and it was the original. Like, I think, when did Halo 5 come out? Because it came with the release of Halo 5.
Halo 5 was the biggest disappointment in Microsoft
Oh, it was
history.
so terrible. When did Halo?
I remember I remember where I was in my life because my wife's a huge Halo fan, so I went out
Yeah.
and got a new controller for it so that we could play fucking co-op. We sat down and it was like, there's no fucking co-op. That's how fucking bad we suck. Also, look at how bad the graphics are in this game. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare.
I mean, it came out in 2015, so my Xbox is 5 years old. I mean, it hasn't had any general problems with it, and I mean, whatever works works. I've never really had a preference. I've played the PlayStation. I've
PlayStation's
never.
just better because, well, I mean, it does have better hardware, but it has better exclusives. God of War,
It
Last
does.
of Us 2, fucking, what's the other one that I just got? Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy 7. These games are all remarkable. Horizon Zero
Yeah.
Dawn. All these super duper good games, and just Xbox has what, Halo? That's it?
Yeah, Halo. But I mean, I was really into the Destiny franchise. I don't know if you ever played Destiny 1 or Destiny 2.
I really like Destiny 1 on the first playthrough. That game just has a terrible grind. The grind is so unbelievably not fun in Destiny.
Like, especially Destiny 2. Like, I was fine with the grind in Destiny 1. I mean, because all you had to do was play Archon's Forge for a good 4 hours a day for like a week, and you were set. But Destiny 2, the game is completely like created on bounties. Like, if you don't grind your daily bounties, you get like 10 light behind, and there's no like light ceiling. So technically, if you're willing to put like however much time you want into it, you can be whatever light you want.
I prefer to play WoW, or when they make Magic Legends, when that comes out, I'm gonna be all over that. But that's all PC.
Yeah, I mean, I've never owned or played a PC in my life. I have no idea what it's like.
Sucks in the beginning.
I wanted one for my whole entire life, and now that like I've been a computer technician since 18, and it wasn't until last year that I actually had my own gaming PC. How depressing is that?
Man's worked on computers for like 11, not 11, like
almost 15, 14 years.
14 years, and then didn't own a gaming PC.
When I was 22, I got my first laptop because I married into a laptop with my first wife.
Man chased that bag with the laptop, bro.
She was a bag too. She was 17 years older than me.
Just a bag, bro.
And I married a 39-year-old. Yeah.
As long as you're chasing the bag, doesn't matter how you accomplish it. All right, well, I'm gonna hop out and bounce, cause I gotta go to bed because of school in the morning. But I'll add you as a friend, and we can have any like debate, conversation, or I'll invite you to my podcast whenever you feel comfortable recording an episode. So
yeah, for sure, buddy. Just hit me up. You can set up a time. My sleep schedule is completely erratic. I'm sure I can make any time that you want. Time is meaningless to me. I live in a lockdown, so yeah, just hit me up.
All right. Well, see you guys. Have a good night.
Bye, Scoot. Actually, we can raise here. Oh, I was just saying I can raise in this hand here. You having a good time, Cletus?
I have like no idea what you guys are talking about 90% of the time.
I was actually surprised with how reasonable people that weren't. The fuck was that one guy's name? The right way of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of
Some
a
some
fucking train
some
wreck to talk to, but everybody
some
else
of
is
some
pretty
of
cool.
some of his arguments didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. Like I would debunk what he was saying, and then he would come right back to the thing and make an argument for him. Like, no, bro, we already went over this. Like, we like pretty much resolved the fact that you're wrong here. He goes, yeah, but then I think that like, no, bro, you can't stop. Like, he's like, yeah, but I'm afraid that we'd just be paying more in taxes. Like, remember when I brought the tax figures out and you didn't dispute them? Yeah, but I just think that, no, bro, you're not allowed to think differently anymore. Like, dispute the fucking figures I gave you or shut the fuck up about it, please. That was goofy. Yeah, do you think he was arguing in good faith?
I don't know.
My my roommate messaged on the stream too. He goes, "Go easy on him. He's just a talker." He's like, "I'm not a debater, man." He's like, I'm not debating. I'm just having a conversation. Like, you know what happens when you have a conversation where you take an opposite perspective, and you vie for it, right? Yeah, you're fucking debating, bro. No, I'm just talking. Like, come on, bro. That felt really bad faith to me. Like, he knew what he was saying, right?
Oh, it's cold.
I just feel like he had a really hard time saying, like I understand you're right. I just don't want to say that I'm wrong. But from everything everybody said about Jake the dog, I really expected a totally different vibe from him.
He came in kind of hard.
Yeah, he acted real tough, and then, like, I just feel like I threw a couple points at him, and he just chilled the fuck out. I feel like he had the fucking ball in hand, and he was ready to fucking dunk, and then he just realized I was taller, and he just chilled. It's like, all right, we can just play. And like I respected at least like the backing down from the like the cocky
I thought he was gonna bring up the Canadian shooting people.
oh, like it's funny too. Even the
Say
Trump
we
stuff.
went that last night.
Oh, like he went really hard for Trump, and then like everything that I said about Trump, he's like, yeah, you're right, that was bad. Or like I'd say like this is bad about Trump, and he's like, well, I don't agree with that. He like everything that I said about Trump, he had nothing to say for either.
I feel like most people just like Trump because he's this new guy who doesn't play by the books. I mean, they think they're the savior.
So it's fine. It's fine to say like I like that he's like it's fine to say like he's not a politician and like all this stuff, but like nobody ever makes the case for why this is good.
Yeah.
I pulled it back up.
What you want?
You're mine. I read for
I don't
an
think you
hour
do.
with Lilith. She gonna
It's getting
call me
gross. I've already
tomorrow.
primed up a new coil.
I told her she gets a lunch break to call me. I wanna know about how her school is, like how they do it and stuff.
I just talked to some 13-year-old kid for a hot minute there. He's going into actual school. Very, very smart and very what's the word I'm looking for? Articulate for his age. I was impressed. Then I was like, oh shit, he's only 1 year older than my daughter. Like, this kid's obviously going to places. I guess his parents want to send him overseas to do like foreign exchange program next year and shit.
Wow.
He doesn't wanna.
I want so much better for Lilith. I know she can do stuff.
He invited me to his podcast. I told him I'd do it. He said that exactly one person listens to. I told him I'd do his podcast with him. He's an anarcho-capitalist, a 13-year-old anarcho-capitalist.
Wow. Yeah, I told Lilith about like all the stuff that she could do like down here, extra school programs and stuff. And she was like super like interested in it. And I was like, yeah, that's like.
Don't make it too appealing. You don't want to get her in trouble.
No, I know.
She argues that her mom is just going to give her a harder time in her home life.
Well, I just like I told her about what they have up there too. It's just she knows she can't really join anything because
Yeah, I
it
know.
involves getting places.
So did you learn anything, Cletus? Your name isn't really Cletus, right?
No.
Okay. And right after I said that, I was like, "Oh, I really hope it's not now, because it's really fucking insulting if it is."
It's funny because when I first joined, they thought I was gonna be like a really right wing like Southern person,
Because of your name.
and then they heard me talk for the first time. They're like, "Oh,
So what exactly are you on the fence about? I know you've sort of made the statement like you're trying to figure out where you're at politically.
oh yeah." Like I like things from like both sides.
Yeah, like what are you on the fence about?
Not healthcare. It's more of like shit. I don't really know.
How'd you think I did on the healthcare? I felt like I fucking nailed that
No,
shit.
yeah, that you nailed. Everything made sense there.
I really get frustrated when a lot of people debate for healthcare. I feel like they don't make a lot of these other points about like how much other prosperity like stems from it, and that kind of frustrates me. Like when I'm a party to a debate, whether I'm in it or just listening to it, I always get really mad that like it seems like both sides of a debate seem to like neglect like the best arguments they could make for their points. Like even if you're wrong, I want you to be wrong in the most convincing way possible at least. Cuz like you're more justified in being wrong then.
I don't get why most like Republicans think it's more of like an issue with like spending on people instead of just the basic needs
Well,
that people need.
do you want to know the truth of this matter?
Yeah.
They just fucking hate poor people. They do. That's literally it, dude. There's literally no realistic reason otherwise. They're not too dumb to understand this. They just fucking hate poor people. And a lot of times too, like they're racist. And like a lot of poor people are black, you know? Like if you can fight the class war, you're hurting minorities, right?
I think one of the best like symbolisms ever with that whole statement you just said is during the boat rally. How all the bigger boats were making all the smaller boats sink.
Wait, what?
You saw the Trump boat parade thing, right?
Oh my gosh. It's you can't even write
It's like
shit that funny.
it's like a great symbolism though of like the Republican Party. It's how the bigger boats are making the smaller boats sink.
Yeah, yeah. And yet they're like fully like
Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's you know."
and they're not blaming the rich irresponsible people for the demonstrable harm that has come to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was talking.
that is the party in a nutshell.
I was talking to somebody about the boat thing today, and he said 5 boats out of 11,000 boats sinking is not a bad percentage. I said, why were any of the boats sinking in the first place? That shouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah. You fucking communist. Boats have to sink. That's just
All,
the way that it
all,
is.
all boats matter.
But so you think that the bigger boats should have sunk instead?
Boats sinking? Whose boats?
Oh, did we get somebody new in here?
It's the
No,
right way of thinking.
it's Alex.
Oh, hey.
It's Alex. My name's Alex.
He just said six next to it, and I fucking lived that shit.
Oh, we got Cletus. I know Cletus was in here for a minute. Nice to meet you, Cletus.
Hello,
That's how you say it, Cletus? Cletus?
Cletus.
Cleveland?
Cleveland. A lot of people
Yeah,
call
I'm
him
pretty sure it's
Clitoris.
Cleveland.
What's up, Cleveland?
He can't call you that. He'd never find you. I'm just kidding, buddy. So it's fun.
Do you big cleave in yourself?
Big Cleve.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
get
you
into the
big,
ponds.
do
I
you
gotta
big,
get out of here.
so,
I'm just kidding.
you don't be cleaving yourself? That's. Oh, do you be cleaving yourself?
I put Cleve in myself.
Yay! That's good. You always need to be cleaving yourself. That's how you become successful.
Oh my gosh.
Cletus.
Hello.
Are you successful?
In what way?
In your own way. Do you think you are successful?
Uh, sure.
Yay! Elder,
What up?
Huh?
do you think you are successful?
Fuck no, bro. I am wasted potential on a fucking stick. But my
You like
life's dope.
alcohol? You like alcohol?
Um, it's okay. I can't really drink it because I have GERD super bad.
What is that?
Um, think of acid reflux if it had acid reflux.
Do you need some kind of medicine to fix that, or
I take 2
that-
separate medicines a day, and alcohol would still ravage me.
damn. How much is
Yeah.
that medicine?
I mean, it's all over the counter. I take basically what's Prilosec. I take like over-the-counter Prilosec, and then I also take since Zantac off the market, I take I don't know what the fuck it's called, Pepsid,
What do you do
off-brand
for
Pepsid.
fun? What do you do for fun?
So generally, I play video games. I play Magic the Gathering, and then when
Oh,
I'm not
you a
under
geeky
quarantine,
geek.
yeah, and then also when I'm not under quarantine, my wife and I go on dates with chicks.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am, buddy?
35.
I'll be 32 in October. Not a bad guess.
You 32?
Yeah.
Damn, you old as hell.
Yeah, but my life's dope.
Hey man, if your life is dope, your life is dope. I mean, I can't, I can't take that away from you.
I stopped smoking weed in December too.
Why'd you stop smoking weed?
I don't know, it just wasn't doing it for me no more.
Maybe one day that same thing will happen for me.
I did a dab on my wife's birthday, a little tiny baby one. In January, at the end of January, we went to Kalahari, and I spent like fucking the whole day in the hot tub. I drank $70 worth of booze, and I don't ever
Ooh.
drink anymore. And I was like fine, I was like stone cold sober. So I was like, man, this is kind of some bullshit. I almost spent $80 on booze. I want to feel something here. So I smoked a joint with my in-laws and my wife, and I was still fine. I was like, man, fuck this shit. I'm going to bed.
Wait a minute. Kalahari and the Poconos?
I'm a party boy. So
Kalahari in Ohio.
I'm a party boy.
I mean, I used to be like a lot more party. Like I've done my fair share of drugs. Believe me, I've done your fair share of drugs. I've done Cletus's fair share of drugs. I
Drugs
just
are
sort of.
awesome.
I don't do drugs.
Drugs,
I mean-
drugs are good if you are successful.
I mean,
What?
drugs are good if you're not a fucking retard.
Exactly.
I guess I wouldn't say like I wasn't much of like a party drug user for a while. I was just like a straight up addict. but then like I also used like psychedelics, like when I could, and I never like to be like around a lot of people. Then it was either just by myself or like a small group of people. That was more of like a understand myself better or understand the universe at large kind of purpose.
I just do drugs just to feel good. So
All right.
that's it, man. Hey, what can I say?
But I did do Molly on my 1 year anniversary with my wife, and that was fucking amazing. I did chew a big hole in the side of my lip though.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for is it 8 years? 8 years.
8 years, huh?
Yep.
8 years. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
How do you stay so committed? What's the secret?
I don't know. We like each other a lot.
Do you find her less attractive when
No, not at
since day one?
Sometimes.
Not at all.
Sometimes I want people.
But no, I don't find her less attractive at all.
Alex, question for you. Are you under the influence now?
To be fair,
Me?
Am I under the influence?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who?
Lady Tag.
You?
Me?
Jamie.
Yes.
To be fair,
Huh,
I did let us get another girlfriend.
Maybe.
So like, I'm a cool wife.
Yeah, and like I mean, like as far as like my wife just went out, she goes, we do have girlfriends sometimes too.
And that was my choice.
Open relationship.
Oh yeah.
No, we're
oh.
polyamorous.
Oh,
what that
poly.
is.
What? What,
Yeah.
dude? That's a big thing in groups I'm in.
Oh, that's what's up. It's pretty
I'm
dope.
not.
I like it a
I'm
lot.
personally, I'm not into it. Fuck that. Fuck that. I want to feel special.
He said, "I'm not into that. I
That's-
want to feel special."
Yeah, I mean that's just pretty much what it comes down to.
I mean, like, you don't think that I feel pretty special knowing that my wife and I love each other so much that like having other partners doesn't get in the way of our love for each other?
And well, I mean, I'm sure I don't doubt that, but I need at least again, it's on like a subjective thing. Like for me, if I see a person I'm dating, like give love, not give like say they love them to another person, I'm like,
I see. I feel compression when that happens.
I'm down for open relationships. I mean, I love going to crazy parties and doing extremely
I
wild.
mean, that's not
I mean,
necessarily like off the table, but that's just not really what it's about.
Yeah, no, I'm
So
I only have
polyamory actually means, like, by definition, it means many loves.
yes.
Whereas an open relationship just means my wife and I fuck other people.
Yeah, that's me. I'm open for that. Other than that, nah.
Did you want some advice for that?
What's the advice?
Don't ever bring it up. Let her bring it up. Otherwise, you're fucking dunzo, bro.
Oh, well, you see, well, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something, okay? I got a secret. The secret is, don't date women. Women are disgusting trash on this planet, and they should die.
Oh,
just
you're just
kidding, it's a
gay?
joke. Yeah, I'm gay.
Wait, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nah, but I don't like women.
Oh, that's fair.
They're stupid and ugly, and they have
What?
pussies, and pussies are nasty.
Well, hey, man.
Seeing this thing on TikTok.
Whatever does it for you, more power to you, my dude.
Hey,
I don't
Wait,
know. what that
aren't
was.
you Republican?
fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, how about that? I met a gay Republican today.
That's a minority as well, dude.
Yeah, big time.
I'm a minority, bro.
Whoever said fucking voters go with their self-interest?
Shit, corny as fuck, man. Listen, for me, I always tell people, even people who do not even agree with me to the point that they personally don't like me, I'm like, if you believe what you want to believe and vote for what you believe in, man. That's it. It's that simple.
So how do you feel about like subscribing to a party that's like actively conspires against you?
Inspire. I mean, I don't know about Listen,
Yeah, I guess conspires the wrong word. They're super fucking open about it.
I gotta say, I don't know.
How do you feel about being part of a party that treats you like you're subhuman garbage? That's a plate against God.
I haven't experienced that.
But you've witnessed it.
Nah.
You've never seen like homophobic political speech from the right?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really like the Republican Party.
Oh, I asked you if you were a Republican. You said fuck
No,
yeah.
I am a Republican. Like,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. How does it? Is it? And then like just so you know too, this is like completely good faith. I'm not like mocking you or anything like that. Like I think I hopefully that just from the time that we've talked, you can tell that like I'm super good faith.
Nah,
I'm not like that.
I like.
But like, is it? Do you feel like some weird disconnect in knowing that like the party that like you affiliate yourself with is just like super hardcore against you just because of like who you are?
Super hardcore. And I'm gonna be honest. I haven't experienced that.
But you're aware of it, right?
I have
Which
known.
state
Yeah,
do you live in?
of course I do know people who who don't support gay people. But that's fine. Like that's not gonna. I'm not gonna be like. "Blah."
Which state do you live in?
I live in
it's a-
Connecticut.
It's a big platform for the Republican Party.
Not really.
Yeah,
well, again,
really,
I mean,
dude.
Okay. Okay.
Well, sorry. I mean, do you have something else to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, I was gonna. I mean, when you talk about the party, right? I mean, the party. I'm not really for the party itself. But like when I talk to like other Republicans, and it's more like since I feel like modern day Republicans kind of or younger Republicans are more progressive
Mm-hmm.
than these old farts in office. And I would think if I only surrounded myself with the old farts that kind of think that way still, I
Mm-hmm.
will feel disconnect. But since I kind of associate myself with modern day Republicans, more progressive ones, they're not that hardcore conservative, you know, all that crazy religious people. I don't really notice it, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah, but you have to draw awareness to it, though.
yeah. So the problem is though, is that it's not the young ones that are like in control of the party, right?
Okay,
It's the old fucks that are running the show.
but they haven't done nothing. At least in modern day, they haven't done nothing. I could be wrong.
I mean, they've done their best to block LGBT legislation.
What is LGBT legislation?
Making sure that like people can't discriminate against LGBT community, like gay marriage rights and things like that.
Well, okay, so when it comes to gay marriage, yeah, no, definitely since uh, being to get married involves the government. The government should not have any favoritism.
Yeah.
Just for the due reason of the whole point, the marriage of between a man and woman, it's a religious value. United States government is not allowed to, uh, establish some kind of national religion or preference one over the other.
But they
But again,
did for a long time.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. But for me, I would say the Supreme Court legalized it, and I'm fine. So,
Fair enough. Forgive and forget.
I mean, not only that, I mean, I guess personally for me, like, I don't really care about marriage like that. I guess so.
I suppose I understand that to a point.
There's nothing like it. It's beautiful, isn't
I'm
it?
happy. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy it's legalized. I'm not. I don't think it should have never been not legalized and nationally because again, it involves the government. If it didn't involve the government, and let's say like a private church wanted to not do marriage between a man and a man, a woman and a woman, I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, sure, I'm for that too. You shouldn't be able to force people to,
Yeah, no. But like to
do
get the
something that's against
license, which is you got to get through the government. Yeah, no, the government has no right to discriminate. That goes against the Constitution, First Amendment. But I mean, other than that, like, I never needed to get special legislative passed for me. I, everything's the exact same
Interesting.
for me
Okay,
at
fair
least.
enough.
I mean, I don't know what if this other people had different experiences. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think I have the same rights as you, being a straight man.
Jenny?
It's gotten a lot better.
Well, I don't think there's no any difference today. I mean, what difference?
It's gotten a lot better today. I mean, there's still
Yeah.
it's more socially now.
Yeah,
Well,
I definitely say the faults in the Republican Party still stuck in the 70s and 60s and shit.
yeah.
Yeah, they kind of. I mean, to be honest, I really don't like both parties. Like,
Great.
I
let's
respect
get back out
Democratic
there.
people and I respect Republican people, but I think both parties are kind of and meh. I think they really need a big they need a new generational, change.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a lot of old fucks to die.
Yeah, I said,
Mission
I
accomplished.
would you support
Dude.
would you support congressional term limits?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I support that too. It's crazy how Congress you can just stay in Congress forever. You just keep getting
I-
voted in.
I honestly think too there should be an age cap on serving in a government office.
Really?
What? 1 minute. Yeah.
Kyle wants me to play Valorant with him. He's never played before. What's a good champ that like is unlocked in the beginning that he would be able to pick up pretty easy?
They're all fine.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Cause like I was like I don't know.
Yeah, any of them. They're fine. Just maybe stay away from the more complex ones like
Well, he's
like
only got
Viper.
Sage. He's only got Sage, Sova, Yeah, Phoenix and
I haven't
Jet.
played Phoenix.
Okay. Because I was gonna say he's only got the main ones. He hasn't unlocked any. But
Yeah.
there's-
Dude,
Damn, y'all still fucking here?
I'm just chilling
Hello.
out, my guy. Relax.
Bro, I've been in lockdown since fucking March 12th. What the fuck do you want from me?
What state are you in?
The fuck? Yeah, what fucking state do you live in?
I live right by Detroit.
Oh, that's why. You live in a fucking liberal town.
I don't know about that, dude. So I just moved a couple years ago. I moved from where my wife is born and raised. It's called Huron County, and that's like where they coined the term hillbilly, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it's super fucking
That's you
conservative up
still
there.
in lockdown? Do you have like conditions that could fuck you?
No, like so I have asthma and I'm overweight, and like I said too, last September after my mom's house blew up, I had her move in. She's super.
Your mama's house blew up.
Yeah, my mom and my grandma's house blew up.
Gas leak? What happened?
Yeah, propane pooled underneath underneath it. It blew my mom right out the fucking concrete wall, and she was basically fine, and it killed my grandmother.
Oh, what?
Fuck.
Dude, I'm sorry for your loss, man.
I swear to God, I know it sounds made up. I even said when I was at her funeral, that was like one of the things that I said to her, like, it sounds made up. It's just, it doesn't seem real.
No, I don't fuck with propane. I'm fine with natural gas. It's less likely chance of things blowing
They
up.
did a 3-month investigation. They still can't figure out how it happened.
Really?
Just a freak accident. Yeah, I was supposed to be in that house too. I had a ground wire was going out, so I thought my alternator was going out in my van, so I just didn't go. It's like I don't want to get stuck up north because we usually go up there for the weekend for me to get my daughter, and I was like, we're not gonna risk it.
Damn.
Yeah, my
I mean,
wife,
that's
my
awesome.
kid, and
I
my
love
dogs
it.
would have all been there.
Dude, that's like
They would fall by
I
my
was looking out for you there.
life sucks, man.
Time for violence.
Yeah, that's my uncle said that whole God thing too.
I have a question for you, Elder.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Or two questions. What's your opinion on AOC? And do you think that the party switched?
What do you mean? So AOC, like, she's fine. I like that she's sassy. I think that's good.
Cringe. Cringe.
Now, I do like how AOC has gone after Big Pharma pretty strongly.
Like, she's fine. Like, I don't love her. I don't hate her. I like that she calls bullshit a lot.
Did you see the video where the lady was like, "We need to eat the babies"?
No.
No. There was this lady was asking. Well, she was going to ask a question. And it was about like carbon emissions and trying to save like green energy. And this crazy lady went crazy. She was like, "We need to eat babies."
Yeah, but
It's
no
some crazy-
fucking idea
Dude,
what you're talking about.
I will send you a link. It's so funny, but like it's crazy.
It sounds too good to be true, but he's legit. Like it was all,
Like,
yeah.
Who is the lady?
It was some vote. I'm assuming a voter.
Wait, so who asked me how I felt about AOC? Was it Cletus?
Yeah.
Oh, did you have a follow-up to that before we get off into baby eating?
The second question was, do you think that the Republican and Democratic Party switched during like the early 20th century?
Are you're talking about how like the Republicans were like the party that like freed the slaves and the Democrats had
Yeah.
like the original? Yeah, I mean this isn't even debatable. This is fact. They have completely opposite positions than what they used to hold.
So they did switch?
Yeah, this
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
even debatable.
Protect House
Republicans used to have a very different platform than they have now.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
Like this is just historical fact. But I don't really. It has like no bearing of relevance to today.
Show me a target.
It's just that everybody brings up like the topic of
Party.
slavery, and that like the Democrats
Demacia
was
needs heroes.
slave owners.
Yeah, sure, that's fine, but like these are things that aren't like relevant. Like if we were talking about the fucking if I was talking about Germans during the World War II, this is a very different context than if I talk about Germans today, right?
Yeah.
Like my German buddies coming over for dinner would have been a way different statement back then, right?
Steady aim.
Wait, what was the statement?
My German buddies coming over for dinner would have been a significantly different statement during World War II than it would have been today, right?
I mean, yeah, because Germans weren't like back then, but I don't know. Do German people still hate Jewish people?
No.
There's a big growing movement
mean-
though right now in Germany.
I mean, Nazis did.
Everyone fucking hates Jewish people, even Jewish people.
I don't hate Jewish people.
I think Jewish people. Yeah. They control everybody. They control the whole planet.
No, they don't. Why is that a big theory? Why is it that's what
It's not a
people
theory. It's facts.
I
They
mean-
own all the banks. They own all the banks.
I mean,
Who gets
so
sold out? The
so look,
Jews.
here's the thing.
people are good with money and you're not, Alex.
No. Hang on.
You a Jew, now you got.
You can make a factual claim that Jewish people have like many different positions of power in the world. This is not conspiratorial whatsoever to make this claim. However, to extrapolate this and make other kinds of like claims based on this information is a totally different story. And this is where we get like the really cringy, memey stuff coming from, right?
Hitler did nothing wrong.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, calm down for me.
Everyone relax. I'm Jewish. All right.
Are you really?
Yeah, I actually am. Like, on God, I'm Jewish.
Big ass nose.
On God.
I do not have a fucking. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Or are you blind?
Why are you yelling?
Because it was a fucking. I don't know. Sometimes I just yell.
I don't know. It sounds like maybe you're a little insecure about your giant honker now. I didn't think you had a big nose, but after that outburst, I'm kind of suspicious. Not
this a
gonna
big
lie,
nose?
bud.
Is this a big nose, guys?
Big conspiracy. Is he showing
yeah.
his nose?
Showing his
You have a
face.
big ass chin though.
No, but but after looking at your hair, I believe you about the Jew thing.
Yeah, I got a Jew fro, dog. Don't hate on it.
I didn't hate on it. I was just making an observation. Oh. Oops, didn't mean to do that.
You like Star Wars out there?
I like Star Wars.
So let me put it this way:
No,
I
the
didn't
funny thing is, though, is
used
that
to
I'm-
like Star
I'm
Wars.
Why are
like-
you yelling? Jake, stop yelling.
Sorry, I'm religiously Jewish. I'm religiously Christian, but culturally Jewish.
So I didn't like Star Wars, and then because like even as a kid, I could not fucking deal with the fact that they put a giant fucking hole in the Death Star that you could shoot and blow it up. Like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. They put something in a ventilator, and ventilator's supposed to shoot her out. How was it supposed to go down a 1 mile tunnel?
So and then they made a movie, an entire movie to explain that, and I was like, all right, respect. I can watch this now. That's literally how I approached it.
So you a geek, but not
Wait,
that
hold
type
on.
of geek.
Yo, Elder, how fucking old are you?
How old do you think I am, buddy?
46.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, dude.
38.
I'll be 32 in October.
Elder, be honest. Be honest. Are you
Wow.
balding?
Yeah,
No,
are you?
fuck the bro.
You
Are
ever
you
have
shitting?
receding hairline?
Hang on.
Do you have a receding hairline?
Just patiently waiting for the cam
Yeah,
to.
I'm also waiting.
Oh wait a minute.
I'm
It's
just
not
waiting for
working.
the
Oh,
cam.
I can't do the fucking camera. You fucking go to twitch.tv/elderdrazi. You can see my
Oh yeah,
fucking
Twitch.tv.
luscious locks.
Wait. You put in the chat, right?
I might have. Hang on, I will though.
Well, in which one?
I'll put it in chat.
Yeah, I see you typing now.
Okay.
What do you do?
Bro, I
What do
got
you?
fucking- Right now, I'm streaming Legends of Runeterra, but the purpose of this stream was just the conversations we're having. It's a digital TCG. Like, think in terms of like Hearthstone, but it's
Okay.
Are you familiar with League of Legends?
Oh, those games are
League of
boring as
Legends
fuck.
sucks.
League of Legends.
Boring ass games. I don't know how people play that shit for like hours upon hours.
Okay, I'm just asking if you're familiar with it. I'm not playing League, which I do.
No, no,
I do
I'm-
play League, but
He was
it's not
about
what
to
I'm.
get
My bad. You trigger flashbacks.
So it's akin to League of Legends.
Political
It's
right news.
Slow-paced
Damn,
games
dude, you
are
got ads playing and shit. I just
so
made you money.
ass.
I'll check you out.
That means
Oh,
I'm your boss. I made you money.
Here, I'll put it in the
Also-
chat.
Also, if
You
you,
can
do
also
click the link, feel free to give me a follow. It's 100% free. You don't have to pay anything, and it helps me out a little bit.
I don't. How about I just fucking? I don't have a. I don't
But me not subscribing is
a-
also free.
have a Twitch.
No, I didn't say subscribe. I said follow. I
No,
mean,
I'm-
if you
I
want
mean,
to subscribe,
but me not following, it's also free.
this is true.
quiet
This
of the
is true.
woods.
Oh
There's nothing
damn,
like
you got
it.
long hair and shit.
Fuck yeah, I do.
Eldar, do you play Hearts of Iron?
No,
As
I don't
the
even know what that
arrow
is.
flies.
Oh, do you are a big geek.
Because I don't play this game.
No, Hearts of Iron sucks.
This dude's a big ass geek. I love it.
Just making sure.
I absolutely am.
Don't back down.
Do you play any fast-paced games?
I'll whoop your ass in
Don't
I mean,
Magic. Don't
I
fuck
play
with me.
League. You play
League's
Magic?
not a fast-paced game. That's not a fast-paced game.
I play MK.
I'll whoop your ass in MK.
I don't know.
No,
No,
what
you
MK
won't.
Is.
No, you won't.
9. I only got 9.
I mean, I haven't played 9 in a hot minute, but I was in the top 5,000s in 9.
Okay,
I was in the
I mean,
top. I was in the top 800s in 10.
What the hell's MK?
Mortal Kombat.
Damn, you
Oh.
Mortal Kombat. Yo, do you like Injustice more or Mortal Kombat?
Fucking Mortal Kombat, dude. Injustice is such a fucking bad game that when they made when they made Injustice, they released Scorpion for it, and just because he was so like port, like you could port like his moves over,
You are toast.
that I just
Hardly
I
fair.
played Injustice as Scorpion, and I got to like the top 2,000 in like 3 hours just by like fucking killing people like fucking crazy with Scorpion. And Scorpion
favorite
isn't even like
character?
my main or anything. No,
Who's your
that's the
main?
thing. In MK10
Yeah, sure. MK
or 11. In 10 it was Kung Jin. Well, I did Kung Jin,
Kung
Jason.
Jin, really?
Oh, absolutely. Bojutsu Kung Jin is like the best. Like I don't care what anybody says, like he's niche play, but I got to the top 800 in ranked, so I
like
don't care what
Kung-
anybody
Show
says.
me a target.
Kujin was the one with he had the bow and arrow, right?
Yeah, he had the bow and arrow and the bow staff.
Yeah,
he was
he was good at was able to keep distance away while also not needed to zone.
Yeah, so you could zone people incredibly with the arrow and then like the fireball that you put up in the air, but then as soon as they get close to you, if I touched you with Kung Jin, you were getting smacked for
Penis. Oh my lord.
you were gonna get smacked for like a third of your health. All I had to do was touch you 3 times and you were dead.
You know that his range is what the fuck, man. Yeah, his range is awesome. Definitely.
Yeah, so literally MK 9, 10, or 11, like I don't know any person in real life that can beat me in those games, which is a little bit depressing. Because in MK10 I had a buddy. What's
What
that?
games? I'll kick your ass in. I'll kick your. I have never. I don't. What games have you played? Because I'll probably kick your ass in them.
You think you could kick my ass in Mortal
Wrong.
Kombat?
Oh fuck yeah.
Really? Do you have it?
No.
Oh.
Then why the
Oh,
fuck
you know
would
what?
say that?
You don't have to. You don't have to have it. MK11. I can invite other people to play with me. You want to play some MK11?
What do you run? What do you play on?
PC.
No, I have a PS4 dog.
Oh.
Loser, you don't
Dude,
have a mouse and
yeah.
keyboard.
You don't. Yeah, do you have an RGB
mean,
keyboard? Like,
I still use a PS4 controller.
Are you?
I'm not a PC virgin.
Get with the hip new style, Jake.
Sorry,
Fuck
homie,
you,
I'm
man.
not poor.
Come
Wait, hold on, hold on. Play this. Everyone else showed their face. It's time for you. It's time for a face reveal.
No, I'm
Man, I don't know why, cause we all ugly, man. So it's not like
Yeah, it's not like
you
it's
gotta
any
show his face too. Well, I mean, I am the cutest one out of
Oh,
of
no,
both of y'all, but
no.
that's all I'm gonna say. And the good thing is, I'm not a Jew, so.
Oh my lord.
So, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
Can you?
We're actually quite a diverse group here. We got a Jew, we got a gay guy, we got an Italian, and we got a guy with a hillbilly name.
I'm just an arrogant.
Did you say he's an Aryan?
Yeah.
I thought I was American.
I thought you were American. Wait, who's, oh, Alex is the gay. Okay, so wait, hold on. We have a Jew, a ginger, a gay, and an Aryan.
Wait.
This could be a
Where am I at? Where am I at in there?
aren't you the ginger?
I'm not a ginger.
You're not.
Yeah,
I
he's
have
definitely a
luscious
ginger.
long brown hair.
Oh, okay. Then wait, what are you? What were
I-
you in the group?
I'm Italian.
Oh, then you're. Oh, so we both. So what? We have one thing in common. We both have big ass noses.
I don't know. Mine is a little bit bigger.
I mean, my nose is fucking small because I'm also part German.
It's all the better to smell bullshit in these fucking debates with.
God.
Hey, Elder. Hey, Elder.
What's up, buddy?
What do you think? Okay, all right.
Yo, wait, hold on. You guys like the
And
green light?
shut up. Don't go too crazy. What do you think is the biggest problem in the United States right now? And
Yeah, ask this question every fucking time.
Healthcare.
ask different people. You had to ask. You don't want to listen and fucking
Some-
fill up your ears with
Yo,
fucking
yeah,
earwax or some shit.
Alex,
It's
goddamn.
healthcare.
It's the healthcare system. You
Absolutely.
think that should be the number one thing?
What do you think about Black Lives Matter?
I think
What they're
that-
doing right now? What do you think about it?
So
Pretty cool bunch of people.
Faster than my
So yeah, I think
arrow?
that
I think
BLM's doing
not.
really good stuff. I think that also like the lowest common denominator amongst them gets to take all the spotlight and like so it's really funny too because all the people that are like vying for the cops saying like it's just a few bad apples love to paint the worst people in BLM as like a representative of the entire
Oh, I agree with
True.
that one. Oh, I do agree that it's not all Black Lives Matter. But you know, like, but it's just that I just don't. The reason why I don't support like the organization or like I support the movement, but I don't support the organization. It's for a multitude of reasons. My main reasons are one because of the rioting, looting. I just can't support that.
Okay, so you have a ton of people that aren't even a part of BLM that are doing this. This is not
Well,
like part of
I-
the mission statement of BLM.
Safeguard our homes.
Honestly, I
Does it-
feel bad for black people
These are our
who
lands.
really do try to push an honest message,
The time is
and
right.
I feel like
Strike now.
BLM has been hijacked, and
Yeah, but I see that's the problem. Is that it's okay. So it's these. I'm gonna sound like a liberal here, but it's these white people that are taking this
Oh my lord.
advantage to destroy America.
racist.
So look,
Right?
this is just normal human behavior. When you have a situation where you can take advantage of it for
Victory
personal
requires a
gain,
sharp
you're
blade.
gonna do it. This is just going to happen. This is a societal response. And
Elder.
since the people
Oh,
that are being
sorry.
vocal are BLM, they're the ones that are taking the flack for it, and the people that have a good political motive to blame Black Lives Matter for it are fucking hopping on this because it's like a fucking wet dream for them. They're like, ooh, yeah, look at these other people that are clearly, 100% obviously not a part of BLM are doing this shit, but they just get to fucking pin it on them because they fucking like they literally take any excuse to fucking blame BLM for shit, and that's exactly what's happening.
When you're carrying
Well,
around
I mean,
banner flags and then doing this stuff, it gotta point that message.
What's that?
When they're flying Black Lives Matter flags and saying
Anybody
that
can grab one.
No, I
so
agree. But
it's tough to decipher, who's actually trying to push an honest message and who's just
yeah,
trying
I
to
do. I
use that
feel really bad for those
personal
people.
gain. Have you gone to a protest out there?
No, I am super high risk for COVID. I don't leave the house.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, if you
And-
step
and so
outside,
is
you
my
would
mother.
die. You were gonna die.
Like, well, I'm not gonna risk. Look, it's not really worth risking my mother's life over or my own. I have a wife. I have a kid. I have a personal responsibility to stay alive for these people in my
And
life.
you have a Twitch. You're
Yeah.
following.
I have a responsibility to my 90 to 93 Twitch followers.
So the crazy thing is, I went to one actually.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Nope.
At least the one I went to, I loved it. It was kind of awesome, to be honest. The big thing they were kind of pushing people, and the big message was, if you want change,
Show them the way.
best thing to do is participate in your local governments, and if there's issues in your communities, you vocalize those to the mayor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck yes. I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, these people are encouraging young. It was like a lot of it, at least the one I went, a lot of it was young people. I'm like, you're encouraging young men and women, and also people of color, to go out and vote and use their voice.
Yeah. So if people
yeah.
don't vote, like all this is in vain, right?
Exactly.
Like we need people to go out and
I'll
vote.
show you how it's
Otherwise,
done.
all the BLM shit
You're
is
mine.
completely been for nothing.
I got a question for you, Elder.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
My aim
Well,
is
what's your
true.
opinion on Kamala Harris supporting the violence?
So I mean, I guess I don't know enough about her and her background. I know a little bit about her. So the thing is,
She was responsible for a lot of innocent
Nice
black
to
people.
interrupt, Jake.
So I think that it's politically pragmatic for her to do so.
Like,
right?
she's pretty much
this
like
guy's going in the
used it
fucking
as a
basement.
hostage situation.
I mean,
No?
that's why would you say like a hostage situation? I think
Well,
it's a very
I
strange way
mean,
to characterize
yeah,
it.
I wouldn't say it like that, but I mean, she kind of used it as like, if you don't elect us, then these riots aren't going to stop.
I think that might be true to a degree, though. Like, is it underhanded and shady if you're saying something that's completely true, though? Like, I think there's an argument to be said that like this may very well be the case.
Do you think all cops are bastards?
No,
That's not what the statement is. ACAB does not mean all cops are bastards.
I mean,
It's literally-
kinda.
It means,
It means all cops are bad.
I mean, it's all cops are bastardized, which means they work for a corrupt
I
system.
will
It means that
unite
the
the
person's
ACAB
not
means all
bad, it's
cops are
just the
bad.
system they're working for.
Yeah,
I've
it
been
means
told
all
lies then.
It means a multi. I've heard all cops are bad. I've heard all cops are bastards.
It means
All cops
bad.
are bastardized.
So I do agree to an extent that all cops are perpetuating a bad system that hurts us as a society. Because they're not. So here's the thing: the main argument here, and this isn't my argument, but the main argument for ACAB is that if cops were good, they would be arresting the bad cops, and that's not what we're seeing. So by virtue of them,
But these people just, and then that's the thing. But these people never ever hear, never even like know how cops work. Do you ever heard? Do you know what internal affairs is?
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the whole thing. Is what they do is that's what they do. Their whole job is getting rid of the bad cops.
Okay, but they're not doing the job though. The problem is that like we have cops that are killing unarmed citizens and they're keeping their fucking jobs, which is pretty fucking bad. And then we also
But you
have.
also don't understand. Unarmed does not mean not dangerous.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Lethal force is not warranted. When you have soldiers in
Lethal force-
Afghanistan, so a soldier in
Lethal-
Afghanistan can't fire on somebody wielding a weapon in an area which they're patrolling unless that weapon is pointed at them. And even then, they still have to fire like warning shots and shit unless they're actively aggressed upon. They can't do shit.
That's extremely
I've
stupid.
started something.
Okay,
bad.
but it's fact. You know what I'm saying? This is still
Wait,
the
you also
reality of the
understand-
situation.
Lethal force is justified. There is such thing as lethal force
Okay.
justified.
Well,
Okay,
Are you
so-
saying that in all these circumstances, lethal force is justified?
I do not think I do not think George Floyd was justified.
Okay,
Jacob
George-
Blake, I do believe 100% that was justified.
Okay, but we have a lot more than just these ones though too. We have
Okay,
Sandra
let's talk about 'em.
Brown. We have and like I said too, I'm not the guy saying that all cops are bad,
No, I know.
but I am saying that like there's a significant problem with police in this country, and I'm also very much saying that qualified immunity is letting them get away with whatever the
Okay, no,
fuck
qualified
they
immunity
want.
lets people do their damn jobs. Qualified
No.
immunity make sure is that if you use your force, you will not be sued for it. Qualified immunity is what helps police do the job. Because, for example, my dad, this isn't a story. My dad has been a cop for I think almost 27 years. He's been a cop for 27 years. So there was a story where he went to he went to a call at Galaxy Skateway, which is like where you go and roller skate. And this guy was like, sexually harassing girls, like messing around with girls. So he went to go arrest him and stuff, make him leave, and then the guy tried to fight him, and my dad body slammed him because he was throwing punches, fighting his partner too. So my dad body slammed him on the ground, and the guy tried to sue him for excessive force, and qualified immunity helped save that.
Okay, so don't you think that even without qualified immunity, that don't you think that people deserve a chance to press charges against police when they do use excessive force, and there shouldn't be necessarily like an extra layer that makes it nearly impossible for them to do so?
That's why every time there is an excessive use of force, there's an investigation.
Yeah, but the problem is you having the same system that's being accused of doing it, investigating itself. This is not good. Like I also agree that we need like community oversights. We need community oversight committees and things like this.
I do believe it is, but to get rid of qualified immunity is stupid. It stops cops from being able to do their job. From as simple as throwing a punch at
That's
somebody.
not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not a justifiable position at all. If they're not doing anything wrong, then they'll go to court and it'll get proven.
Yeah, but it just stops
but
them
sometimes
from going to
sometimes the cops don't have enough money in the budget to buy body cams. So
You
you can't
talk-
always get the real story.
You talk very low.
Me?
Try to move on mic closer. Is better? Hello? Or am I
Okay.
blowing out everybody's ears?
So what
Alright,
I'm
what's
saying is that if the cops aren't doing anything wrong, then they should be a-okay going to court and proving that they didn't do anything wrong, just like every other person has to.
But what if the cops don't have body cams and then you don't really know the inside of the story, so they have to take either one side of the story?
So
Yeah, well,
I
that's
mean,
the
I guess
that
this
was the
isn't
whole problem
necessarily
with the Jacob
relevant in the
thing.
overarching issue, though.
A beginner's guide to creation.
I know. So I know
Sorry.
you made an original point of how yeah, cops do using lethal force, and I would agree. I say the way I feel like cops are more reliable to use their gun.
They're
in
diffusing the
situations-
situation?
Yeah, but in situations where I'm like, if you had better training, if you had like a physical fitness requirement being present all year round.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
say
arguing
he-
against any of these things, but I'm saying that, like, cops, like, there's no reason why that they should be immune to being sued for violating the law. I think that cops should be held to a higher standard because they're supposed to be moral. They're supposed to be like moral guides for society. We're supposed to look to them.
Also, is that okay? So if a guy is gonna come at you and start fighting you, and you have the body slam them to protect yourself, you're saying they should be able to have to go waste their time when it's obviously justified. When it's obviously justified, go waste their time.
No,
in
I
court?
just think like any other court case, when you go in and there's not enough evidence to prosecute, it gets thrown out, just like every other circumstance in real life.
Then it's a waste of time because obviously there's no evidence. They could be like,
No,
oh,
you
there's
don't have to go to court for it. If I try to sue you over something, the court determines if there's sufficient evidence or not to even proceed. You would just do the exact same thing. It would get thrown out. The cop would never have to go there.
Even with qualified immunity, they
Yes.
still go to court, but the qualified immunity just help it move it along faster.
Do you know how qualified immunity actually functions?
Yeah,
It's not the way you're painting it. Qualified immunity makes you not be able to sue them unless the exact same circumstance has occurred before.
Plaintiff shows that the official violated clearly established statutory or constitutional rights of which a reasonable person would have known.
So in every other circumstance of the law, whether or not you're aware of the law is completely irrelevant.
Well, that's exactly what it says. That is.
No,
as long
it
as
says
you-
that it's super relevant. The cop can say, "Oh, I just didn't know I wasn't allowed to shoot him in the fucking head," and then he can just walk free. Why is that allowed? Why is this
True.
good?
That's not allowed. That's not allowed.
So there was an example. There was a court
If
case.
somebody for no reason, they will go to jail.
Hang on. There was a court case where this guy, where a cop chased a guy into a creek, and he killed a guy. And this was there was no real justification for this. This was a straight up murder. But the reason that was given, hang on, and the reason why that nobody was able to press charges for it was because the only other example they had, it happened in a stream, not a creek. Because it wasn't exactly the same as something that had happened before, they weren't able to prosecute for it. This is bad. And I'm not saying that the cops shouldn't have any protections whatsoever. But the way that our qualified immunity laws currently function definitely do a super good job of protecting bad cops making bad decisions. I think that it's a super dangerous position to be in when cops don't have to worry about their actions at all.
Okay, well then I agree. That can we agree that not to get rid of immunity, but for it to be revised and edited?
Well, I'm saying we should completely scrap it and replace it with something that provides an actual function that makes sense to have,
That's the
rather
same
than.
thing
So, like, qualified immunity, no. Like, I don't like. I think that it does exactly what it sounds like. It makes them immune. Whereas I would say certain
immunity
legal
as long as they're qualified in their actions. That's literally what the qualified immunity means.
Yeah, but it definitely. So this is super bad. It definitely gives them leeway to basically do whatever the fuck they want without fear of repercussions. And this is bad.
Disagree because as long as it is proven that it would be that they were in their rights of doing that. For example,
No.
Jacob.
It doesn't have to be proven that they were okay to do it. All that has to happen is that all you have to do is prove that it hadn't happened before in the exact same manner. Otherwise, they can get off on it scot-free.
That's how are you gonna say? How do you come to that conclusion?
Well, I just gave you the example. That's how the qualified immunity laws are structured. you have to have an exact precedent of what had happened, of something that had happened prior, in order to make a claim against qualified immunity.
It's intended to protect officials who make reasonable but mistaken judgments about open legal questions. It's intended to all officials, but the plaintiff and incompetent of those dying violate the law. Qualified immunity applies to government officials and civil relations. Okay, I'm gonna read you this whole little little thing. All right. It says in the United States, qualified immunity is a legal principle
Yeah,
that grants.
I have the Wikipedia thing up on here too.
So are you gonna read the? Can you read the whole first thing?
Yeah, I have read that before, but that's not the function that I'm talking about. This is just giving it clearly established statutory constitutional rights which a reasonable person would have known. However, that's not how it works in practice. This is not how it's legally used. Hang on, give me 1 minute. I'll find you what I'm talking about here.
What do you say about this, Alex?
I don't know what qualified immunity was, so.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know about the origins of qualified immunity too?
It was from the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, it was literally there to protect them from being sued by black people.
What? How do you know that that's exactly true?
I mean, because I have ears and eyes, and like I can draw reasonable conclusions from the information that's put forth in front of me. So for one, a really big part of it. So the really bad part about qualified immunity is it says they must show that officers should have known they were violating clearly established laws. All you have to do is just play dumb, and you can get out of it.
Okay, well, I can see where you're coming from,
and it's
but
used in that way too.
Yeah, and I don't know why we can't agree that it should be revised and edited to the point where it should be changed. I do agree, maybe it should be changed, but to get rid of something that protects police from being able to do their job is stupid.
Like I'm not over here saying that you should be able to fucking sue a cop for like anything that they do whatsoever. That's not the claim that I'm making.
Without qualified immunity, that's what's gonna happen.
I mean, we don't. So like, I don't know if that's necessarily a justified stance to make either. So I guess what I'm saying is that like when there's okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that there's a problem in this country where when a cop uses excessive force that the proper like punishments are not doled out in a way that they probably should be?
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a humongous delay in time before investigation, and that a lot of times that investigations don't even happen until there's a public uproar and demand for it? Do you agree to that?
I wasn't listening. I was texting. What?
Oh, and do you agree that a lot of times that like proper action in investigations don't even take place until like there's a public outcry for this?
Yes, I do agree with that one. I do.
Do you see the inherent the inherent fallacy of making the police force investigate itself?
Yeah, that I do agree that it is kind of like bad, but like see like in Florida, we have the Florida like for most things like especially like for small things like my dad was IA for I think 2 or 3 years, or like no, it was like 1 or 2 years, maybe just like 1, but it doesn't matter. But like he mainly investigated like smaller things, but if it was bigger things to like where people are gonna lose their jobs, it would go to the county or it would go to the they go to the county or sometimes like the state. Like we just had the chief of police, who's actually my uncle. He said he was accused of saying some homophobic things, but he never said them. Like even the report said he didn't do anything wrong, but still got fired. That went straight to the state. It was the state. It was the whole thing.
But a lot of times in these situations, these smaller, especially these smaller precincts, they do their best to cover it up and make sure that it never sees the light of day. So there's just a lot of problems with police right now. And I don't think we're gonna find any one answer to solve all of them. But I mean, I guess you and I are basically arguing semantics here about whether how we should handle qualified immunity. Sure, if you want to say rewrite it, if I say I want to throw it out and like completely revise a new policy, which seems to be like it seems like they're both gonna reach the same end result. I think we're just arguing over semantics here. But like I do think that like for instance, like you said, George Floyd, this is obviously fucking bullshit. This should have never happened. The action should have been taken much sooner. The action that was taken should have been more severe.
I don't. Do you think that George Floyd was racially motivated?
I don't think that it's relevant. I think that we have enough instances.
What do you think?
I can't possibly know that, but I do know that the overall statistics of police interactions with African Americans is like the statistics point me into a conclusion that as a whole the police and the justice system act in a way that is absolutely systemically racist.
So you think the police are systemically racist?
I think that the police force and the justice system are deeply ingrained in systemic racism, and like that, we have FBI reports that confirm this. There's just no doubt about it whatsoever. I mean, there's like you can't like unless you can point me into another direction that clearly explains why like these numbers are so heavily skewed. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the number of unarmed black versus unarmed white people, it just doesn't make being killed. It just doesn't make any sense. Like so, yeah, I definitely think
there's. In the past 2 years, only nine unarmed black people were killed. By police.
Okay, so if you want to compare the numbers in the United States to like any other country in the world, this is massive. 9 is massive.
Well, we're not comparing. Why do we have to care what the rest of the world's doing? They have different ways of doing.
Well, it does matter if I'm saying that this system is racist, and I'm saying that other systems aren't.
Your whole entire, your favorite place, Canada, is very, very racist.
They do have problems with indigenous people, yeah.
And black people. The only people they hate, the only thing Canada hates more than black people is indigenous.
Not what I wanted it to do.
Sure, but there's not systemic racism from the police, like there is in the United States. You might have social racism, but this doesn't seem to permeate into the government institutions in the way that it does in the United States.
I don't live in Canada, so I couldn't tell you if it did.
Well, I can tell you this. I talked to enough people that try to defend this stuff to where like I would have absolutely heard about this. There would be strong arguments being made about this on a larger stage if this had been the case. But I mean, like I'm not even like trying to point fingers here or anything like that. I just think that like we have a big problem, and it's super important to acknowledge this problem because it needs to get fixed. I'm not saying that all cops are bad, but I'm saying that these systems churn out a lot of racist outcomes.
Well, I mean, I'm still failed to see that, like, I've still failed to see where, like, a racially motivated police killing has happened. Like, I don't see one. I have not seen George Floyd was not racially motivated. Jacob Blake was not racially motivated.
So this is a super important question to ask. This is super important. I'm super curious to hear what your answer is. What would it take for you to acknowledge that a police shooting an unarmed black man was racially motivated? What would have to be present?
Oh, cops have like a racist past, or there for to be actual evidence that it was because they were black. There was no evidence to prove that it was that they were killed because they were black. What I saw with Jacob Blake was he was killed because he reached into a car after threatening to grab a weapon.
Okay, so this is super interesting. 1 minute.
I do not think Breonna Taylor was racially motivated. I don't think any of this was. I don't think any of the ones that Black Lives Matter are claiming are racially motivated. Oh, it's because they're black. Is not because they're black. George Floyd, if you watch the full body cam footage, you can prove that you should show that he was going to be arrested without evidence but then he actively resisted and put himself on the ground. And then after that, once he put himself on the ground, everything that they did until then was not justified, and that's where I end my justification. My whole argument with George Floyd is that it was. I'm not saying that it was justified. It was just not racially motivated.
Hang on a minute.
All right.
Because I know that some of these cops have had like really really big like checkered past when it comes to race and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I've definitely seen some that have like way heavily skewed like arrest and even like brutality cases on them prior to like the killings that they have committed.
I do agree that what was his name? Was it Trayvon Martin, the one that was shot because he had the Skittles in Arizona?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, I feel Trayvon Martin was definitely racially motivated. That cop was well, he wasn't even a cop. He was a neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. That was definitely motivated. That guy was just batshit crazy.
I mean, no, I think that that guy was probably racist. And so here's the
No,
thing
I'm
too.
saying it was. I'm saying it was racially motivated.
Okay, so the real problem here too, like I think that like I said, it doesn't particularly matter to me whether the cop was racist or not. What really matters to me is that the end result is that when it seems like when it's an unarmed black person, what happens as a result of the murder of these people seems to be radically different than if it's an unarmed white person.
Okay, explain.
So when so like arrests seem to happen take a lot longer to happen. It seems like them being fired so like it seems to take a lot longer when there's police brutality against black people. It seems like we get really low punishments.
Do you know who Tony Timpa is? Tony Timpa.
No.
He was a white male that died
the same way.
Was the same way as George Floyd. Same way, knee on the neck and everything. Died.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did not get arrested. They did not get arrested. He was a white guy, but George Floyd, black guy.
Okay,
right?
So look here. I don't find any value in anecdotal evidence when the statistics overwhelmingly show like a skew towards inadequate justice for Black Americans.
Do you know that a cop is like 118% more times more likely to die from a black black male than a black male is to die by a police officer?
So that's just like 2 to 1. Yeah, cops shouldn't be killing. Like I would expect that civilians should be killing cops more than cops should be killing civilians.
Well, that's I'm just saying, but people want to say there's this war, and statistically, more white people are shot by.
Yeah, of course there is, but not per capita. There's black people only make 18% of the population. Of course, there's going to be more white people getting shot by cops. Of course, this would have to be the case. But per capita, it's way different. If we do it by population, black people are getting killed way the fuck more than white people. Raw numbers don't illustrate any real points here.
I just think we need a police reform.
I do agree with police reform.
There we go. Yeah.
I think everybody agrees that we need some kind of police reform.
Yeah, I know. Even my dad believes there needs to be some police reform.
I mean, even if you don't feel like. Even if you don't feel like there's a problem, I think that like everybody would have to, even if you feel like there's not a problem with the police, you'd still have to admit that there needs to be police reform because of the amount of civil unrest, if no other reason.
Yeah,
like, this has to be addressed.
Well, that's what I like about Donald Trump. Signed into action police reform.
What did this entail?
And he also ordered the investigation into George Floyd.
I mean,
his killing, his death.
How long did that take?
A few weeks.
Yeah, that's.
Wait for him to order. Wait for him to order the arrest.
Yeah.
Oh, like a day or two after.
Hang on a minute though.
I think actual investigation.
I mean, the investigation probably should have picked up a little bit quicker than that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was
considering the national attention that it got. It seems like it should have happened sooner.
More than like 2 days. Like.
Ooh, what the fuck was that?
Oh, that was my computer.
Oh. And actually, give me 1 minute. I'll be back. I gotta take a shit.
Oh. All right, wait, I'm gonna go anyway. Bye, Curtis. Bye, Cletus. Bye. See you.
Actually, you know what, guys? It's been real, but I've been streaming for 4 fucking hours, and I gotta take a dump anyway. Oh, it's just you, Cletus. I'm gonna head on out of here, but I'll be around, buddy.